What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior Shaman.
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to episode 1. That's right. This is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show because we can't get it right. Luckily, it's only episode 1, so nobody panic. I was just off screen. If you are watching, that means you're at twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks, where you can be a part of our chat, derail the show. We're also streaming live now to, what are the other ones? YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, my personal Facebook, which is always my favorite comment section to go back to, because everyone on there is just people like I used to work with and family members who are like, oh, hi, buddy. Oh, hey, call me about this computer thing. And I'm like, I'm live. There's like, hey, do you see me? And you're like, I'm doing a show. But it's all right. It's only the first episode.
Yeah, it's like when our parents got a cell phone and they started talking to voicemails as if it was an answer machine. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Why won't you just let me talk? That's the old familiar voice of Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes. Bishop, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll introduce myself.
Well, hello there. Yes, I am back again for yet another episode 1. I appreciate it. Marsh put out the bat signal, and I showed up. I am Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast. That's TWTakesPodcast.com for all links to every platform that I'm associated with. If I am not associated with the platform you are familiar with, please let me know. I'll get it there. Check out my podcast. It comes out 2-3 times a week. When wrestling's good, it comes out sometimes 4 times a week. Other than that, I'm just here to talk some wrestling-ish with the guys on the rocks. So I'm ready to go. TWTakesPodcast.com. And major announcement, t-shirts came in today. Between me recording and on air with you, t-shirts came in today. I am inspecting quality, and we'll be posting them on the website, TWTakesPodcast.com/TWTs in a day or so. So be on the lookout for that.
But with Terrible Wrestling t-shirts, doesn't that mean the quality's got to be like subpar, otherwise it's just not going to be on brand?
No, it's never about the quality. It's about the judgment.
Okay, yeah. As long as the design is bad.
I don't have a Terrible Wrestling podcast.
That's a good point. Good point. As advertised, terrible takes, but good quality content. Guys, I am at Ref Marsh. We are WOTR, the show. This is Wrestling on the Rocks. We are Sans producer today. We're doing this just a couple of guys having drinks, trying to get away with whatever we can. As soon as producer walks in after work, I'm sure I'm going to get in loads of trouble. I'm just like trying to look around to see if like I've left messes places I oughta nada. It's all right. It's all right. Guys, tonight I am drinking On the Rocks Screwball because it was the closest thing in reach, and it's a delightful drink. Hey, Bishop, what's in your glass?
Just a little seltzer and cranberry. Nothing special. But what used to be in my can. What?
You pre-gamed?
What? This is the first run of Broken Skull IPA that was deliverable to Delaware, yes. But once Delaware got delivery for the Broken Skull IPA on InsideTheCellar.com, I ordered it. I checked it as much as I could to make sure I can get the first run. I hate IPAs, but I bought it. And when that year's 316 came around, I popped it open, and I have kept the can since, because Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin is, for what it's worth, a childhood hero. He is a shining light to my youth, and I will forever own this can. So, not that we prepared for this at all, but to Mr. Steve Williams, a.k.a. Stunning Steve Austin, a.k.a. The Ringmaster, a.k.a. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Cheers for Mr. 316 Day.
Oh, hell yeah. Check this out. I'm holding it up right now.
Nice.
This
Got
right
the
here
bomber.
in my hand, This bomber is a very similar story to yours. I live in Arizona where they do not deliver yet. Austin, get on it. They don't deliver it out to here. And so when I was in San Diego visiting my grandparents a while back, I happened to look on their website. You could find out like all the locations that had it. And for whatever reason, there was some random liquor store about half a mile away from my grandparents, just up the hill. And so before I drove back to Arizona, I drove over there and got a couple of bombers. I think I got 3 or 4, whatever they had in stock, so that way we could all try them here on the show. And we did try them. And just the same as you said, we collectively were not fans of IPAs. No one in this house, I think, really enjoys IPAs, or the other co-hosts, Kevlar and Clump. They're not big in IPAs at all. I mean, Clump doesn't even drink, but IPAs doesn't mean that we're going to like it. So we were a little hesitant and just thought, you know what, we're going to try it because it's Austin. We're not going to get very many of them. We're just going to get enough so we can all try it. And man, we loved it. We absolutely love this IPA. It is so good. So much so that actually in Arizona, there was a restaurant in town that was doing a special where they had like a slab of ribs and a Stone Cold beer. And it was the brand. And I was like, I don't know how they got them here, but I ordered that right away. We ordered them with extra cans. And then producer found out where they got them from. In town, there was a local place that had gotten a couple cases.
Nice.
And for my birthday, she went down there to pick up a 4-pack. But when she said that she wanted 4, they gave her 4 4-packs.
Oh, shit.
So dope. So I came home for my birthday, opened up the fridge, and there was like fucking 16 of those big-ass cans. And I was all like, ah! My week was set, dude. It was so good.
It's refreshing. I still don't like it. I've had it a couple times. I flew out to California last year for a job training thing, and I picked up 2 4-packs. And as long as it's ice cold and I can drink it fast, it definitely is refreshing. It's not my thing, but I'll always support the guy. Not that he needs the support, but hey, it's 316 day. Had to put the shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Austin was a special guest referee every once in a while, so, it makes sense.
He's special guest refereed. I mean, that's what made the Brock and Goldberg match worth watching, was Stone Cold.
What?
I'm kidding. The match was actually pretty good, but it's what made the crowd not burn the seats. But, yeah, big fan of Stone Cold, obviously, and happy 316 day. So I'm going to put out my bomber, too. We'll play it on that. Let me see if I get the skull up there on the screen. Let's see in the chat real quick. Justin Time does say for a moment he thought I was invisible because at the beginning of the show I was off camera, but right on mic. I had to rewire. I had to retrace where the cable went, to be honest. That way I can even have it over at the desk. So now I'm all pulling it all weird. I'm gonna be sitting sideways, just holding on to dear life. And so he said, cue the Batman theme, except every time it says Batman, it says Bishop. So would that be Bishop? Yeah,
I'm down. Right. Maybe that'll be my outro.
Yeah,
new intro this week. Justin loved it. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Lee and Moonlight in the chat. Cheers to both Justin Time, Lee and Moonlight, and Kuro coming in early with us. Appreciate that. I love it when these guys are just ready to go whatever time we happen to just flip the switch.
Absolutely.
He says, stall the show until the producer shows up. Let's see, 2 days in a row where the celebration involves alcohol. That's right, 316 precedes St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day. Is St. Patrick's Day on the same day every year, or is it on the same, so it's always March 17th?
Always March 17th, yeah.
Oh. I probably don't remember that because I probably drink so much those 2 days. 16 and then 17, just back to back.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Makes sense.
So good. Let me see. I feel like... Oh, one more thing we want to talk about on the top of the show. This was a special request by producer Lady telling me that I had to do this. Not that I'm against it, but it was of all the things, she was just adamant. She goes, you fucking better. Black Bear Diner, a local diner here in our hometown. We ordered for Pie Day, because we're big on math in this house. We ordered banana cream pie from them. When the delivery driver showed up, they did not have banana cream pies ready at all. And they said, well, we could just throw in some other pie. And I was like, oh, bummer, that's our favorite. We'll go with chocolate mint or something. And they said, well, we didn't realize it was our favorite. We're going to make 2 fresh pies right now. And they made them fresh right then and there. brought them over. So we tweeted them out. They tweeted us back. They followed us. And now producer lady is hell-bent. We're going to get ourselves a Black Bear Diner burger spot sponsorship before we ever get an alcohol sponsorship.
Hell yeah.
And I'm into it. Then we'll stop talking about what's in your glass and be like, what's your drink pair with? You know what I mean? We're going to be like, well, today I'll just be like generically just put like whiskey tape over the labels and be like, but okay, I'm having whiskey, but the important bit is I'm also having sweet potato fries. You know what I mean? Lunar in the chat. Lunar will be with us on our Fastlane drink along. That's right. Me, Bishop, and GR Lunar are going to be hooking up this Sunday to do our Fastlane drink along. So if you guys want to hang out during Fastlane, I know that we talk about the road to WrestleMania beginning at Royal Rumble, but I always feel like Fastlane is the speed bump on the way to WrestleMania. It does seem to really slow down the momentum of WrestleMania builds. So we'll see how it goes. GR Lunar has not been keeping up, so it's going to be very exciting to see how he feels about stuff he hasn't been really watching lately. But I'm very excited for that. So cheers to GR Lunar and Bishop.
Yes. I'm excited.
I'll send you the graphic too if you want. I don't know how you want to, if you're going to be projecting on your side. But I did make one that's got a spot for all three of us. So
cool.
Let's see. Speaking of this Sunday, let's get this out of the way too. NWA is also doing a pay-per-view the same day as WWE Fastlane. So if you hate WWE and you somehow found our show and you watch the other stuff just out of pure hatred, NWA is the way to go. I do believe that their pay-per-view is $20 or $25. I think it's $20. So for the price of 2 months of WWE Network. No, I'm just kidding. They announced, though, I do think it's peculiar placement, right? I don't know why they would do it on a Sunday that already has a pay-per-view going. Like, they're already fighting an uphill battle. They have been off of TV for a really long time. Their YouTube channel came to a screeching halt. They did a couple of pay-per-views on Fight. But they're going to do it, and I thought that this was a peculiar way to do it, to go head-to-head with a major WWE pay-per-view. But they're bringing out all the guns, man. They have 2 big matches announced. They have some other stuff announced, but these are the 2 I think people are going to be talking about. We have, first and foremost, Thunder Rosa versus Camille Brickhouse for the number 1 contender spot of the NWA title, which means that whoever wins this one's going to likely be going up against Serena Deeb when she's back. Because I know Serena Deeb was she's out injured right now.
Who's Thunder Rosa going against? What's her name?
Camille Brickhouse.
Camille Brickhouse. Yeah, I've never heard of her.
For one, she's really nice. I've met her. She's very nice, very cool. I've also met her dad. Such a proud dad. It was really cool to watch him see his daughter doing meet and greets because he's just beaming. So that was really cool. But she's tall. She's just built like a brick house. That's why they call her that. She's a weightlifter, a heavy lifter. She does the competitions and everything. So she looks jacked. She's awesome. So I've seen her wrestle a couple of times when I was at the NWA filming for Hard Times. And she was pretty solid. I don't think she's had a ton of matches under her belt, so I'll be very curious to see what Thunder Rosa gets out of her, because I do think that it's pretty common for Thunder Rosa to have people's best matches. You know what I mean? Most of her opponents' best matches are against her, so I'm really curious and really fascinated what they're going to do there. Let's see. And Nick Aldis versus Aaron Stevens. You familiar with them? Yeah.
I heard about that match. I actually didn't hear about the women's match, but when I got back into wrestling and Stevens was doing the Mizdow character, and what was it? I think it was WrestleMania Dallas when he entered the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and he was in the ring by himself, and the crowd just went fucking bananas. Like, he has a way of drawing you in with his wrestling. I haven't watched him since he left, but I would imagine that they could have a really good match. I don't know if they ever faced each other before, but I would imagine the two of them could really put on a show.
I don't know that they faced each other before. I do know that Aaron Stevens already started on the old Twitter and said that I'm well known for portraying characters and being a funny person. He goes, but all kidding aside, this is going to be a really serious match. He goes, I'm not going in there as a character. I'm going in there as myself, and I'm fighting for me. And I think part of this, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't watch the whole video, has to do with his close buddy Josephus passing away.
He was good friends with Question Mark.
Yep, they were a team on
Okay.
NWA. Him and Question Mark were a team, and they did stuff. And Aaron Stevens kept referring to Question Mark as his sensei and stuff. So I think that it's like a tribute match in a sense, you know.
Okay.
So I'm excited for that for both of them as well. I think that Nick Aldis carries himself very well as a champion. I think that they're both really cool guys in general. I'm curious to see what we get out of this one because I'll be honest with Aaron Stevens, for me, he's hit and miss a lot, and not because of his abilities, but because that I don't think I have the same sense of humor as him. So some of the stuff he comes out and does, I'm just like, okay, I guess he's doing a thing here, or sometimes I feel like he's getting too goofy. So for him to say that he's dropping the jokes altogether makes me very interested because I mean, he's been around doing it a long time. I don't think he's got nothing to offer when it comes to in-ring. So I'm excited to see him get his 10 pounds of gold chance. So
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't look like they ever faced before.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well then, they're
Cool.
for the first time ever. So all for it. Let's see in the chat real quick. Justin Time is shocked, saying infamous GR Lunar's going to be there, which is true. Kuro says, "Did you know?" This is a little off topic, but this is interesting. Did you know the WWE has a 24/7 title business request? So businesses or brands can apply to get the 24/7 title.
Dope.
I fucking love it. I
Dope.
want this so bad. I want businesses to do crazy shit with this title. I think that's awesome.
It's worked.
It's working great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Although fucking Bad Bunny didn't take the title to the Grammys, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude? You don't even
Yeah,
deserve
well,
that championship."
look,
so
he
because he
damn
didn't take
near-
it, to the, what?
He damn near fucked it on SNL. I mean,
Yes, that's
he
true.
doesn't have to take it to the Grammys, but he damn near gave it a baby on SNL. So
That's
that was
true.
more than I expected.
He definitely was like rubbing it all over himself on SNL. And he didn't show up at the Grammys, so then they strip him of the title.
They stripped him for poor product placement.
Yeah. They're like, "We saw the Grammys. Give it back, dick." He goes, "Aw, man." Let's see. Kuro says, "What if the plan isn't to go head-to-head with WWE but sign a working contract with WWE Evolve style?" I don't know. I don't know their goals anymore. I know that there was a while I really felt like I knew what the NWA was going for and what they were trying for, because apparently Billy Corgan said that he'd turned down some semblance of TV deals because he didn't want there to be any influence outside of what him and Lagana wanted to do.
Yeah, I heard
with
that
Lagana
he could have
gone-
been the AEW deal. That
Yeah.
NWA could have been the AEW deal. I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But look,
with
I
Lagana
think when it
gone,
comes
I
down
don't know.
to NWA and Billy Corgan, if you are a fan of what they've done, then I wouldn't expect anything else going forward. Billy Corgan, since he's had the NWA, has been told, you can't do this, you can't do that, you're not going to be successful, this, that, the third, doesn't matter what you do. Like the WWE, Billy Corgan's going to do what's best for him and the NWA as a whole long term. He doesn't make rash decisions. He seems to be plotting with the NWA and taking it seriously. So whatever they plan on doing, could this be a scheduling misstep? Sure. Maybe Saturday wasn't available and Sunday was, and this is the weekend they want to. You know what I mean? It could be anything.
I think the benefit they do have, though, it being on the Fight TV app, is if they absolutely tear their house down and get people talking, people will buy it days later.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking
cool.
they're banking on personally. Let's see.
At worst, they're back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Let's see. GR Lunar says Aaron Stevens is great, best gear in the biz, second only to Zicky Dice. Aaron Stevens he wears nude color gear with pink knee pads. It's so gnarly, dude. And then Zicky Dice has a drawing of his own face with the nose that goes down, and then his mouth is kind of like in the middle area. So when he like goes for a pin, or disgusting, dude. It's fucking gross. Outlandish, as Lunar would say. Zicky Dice says so. Let's see real quick. Let's just knock out some of this other stuff. Well, do you what? I made it. You made it.
Hey,
Producer's here.
Producer lady, welcome to the show.
Producer's here. Made it in time. She's not too pissed yet, so we'll see how this plays out.
I was watching.
She's watching. She's pretty pissed. She's pissed.
Thanks, producer lady.
Let's see. CFL and XFL are going to team up. We saw they're doing stuff about it. I know that we talked briefly before that neither of us has a ton about it to say. I just wanted to note it because it's really interesting. CFL's the company that let The Rock go. The one that where he thought his dreams had been dashed, and the whole $7 story and Jim Ross picking him up all starts with the CFL letting him go. So kind of full circle for XFL be what he purchases now working with CFL. I think it's kind of funny, kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely be cool if it can do. I'm a huge football fan, and if this does something, because I believe the Rock had said something about making the XFL specifically tailored towards a minor league version of the NFL, where the talent will then raise their bar to someday move on. If they're going to do that with the XFL, where some players have come from the XFL, not many have been from the CFL. Not many of them have been successful in the NFL. And I think it's because the game's played too different. So if they find a way to merge those styles and those visions and those dreams, then we would have a better quality of product with, free agent signees and those who finally do get a chance to make it into the NFL. So hopefully it would all work out for the better,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is a good idea. Did you watch any of the XFL on this last run? I did.
I actually had fun. Yeah, I actually had fun. It was interesting. I loved fun. It was just different enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just different enough. They did a lot of, it sounds funny to say, they did a lot of character work. They really let you know about a lot of the players. They really went into depth and told stories about the players too. So just because you were a fan of a team because it was the closest team to your city, but they started getting you invested in the players themselves. And I thought that was so smart and so cool. I thought Pat McAfee shined. It made me such a big McAfee fan before he did all the NXT stuff. He did that whole spot where this dude just completely biffed a fucking kick return. And seconds after the guy's like sitting on the sideline, Pat McAfee's like on the commentary thing. He's like, I got to go down there. I got to see what he was thinking. Goes fucking over there with a mic.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, just puts the mic in the guy's face just right there immediately. He goes, hey, man, what was going on there? Like, you did the thing and like you totally failed and stuff. And he goes, well, I mean, obviously I didn't think it was going to happen that way. I thought it was going to have more success. And he just kind of like turns and looks away and he goes, okay, man, thanks for the and then just like runs away like. Just the idea is like, what were you thinking? And like puts the mic in his face.
Reality show football.
Oh yeah, so fucking funny. But it was really good. It was really fun, and I had a lot of fun watching it because for the first time, since I can remember, to be quite honest, my dad wanted to sit and watch something with me regularly. Like growing up, the reason I got into football at all was because my dad was watching it, so I would just sit there and watch it. But when XFL came out, my dad reached out and he goes, "Where can we go to watch XFL games?" And I was all like, I don't know. And I called around and couldn't find any place. And I was like, look, bottom line, I don't know any place that plans on it. And I was like, but I really frequent this one bar where all the bartenders like me and they have a ton of screens. And I'm sure I could get them to turn it on. And he goes, let's go. Let's do it. So we went there. Nice. So there I was hanging out with my dad, who's never drank a day in his life. But they have fantastic food. So he loved it. They had the best burgers in town, best wings, I swear. And we're sitting there watching XFL every week. Just going there for lunch. Yeah, best wings. At one of my favorite bars. So it was really cool for me. It made it sentimental immediately. So when it went under, I was really bummed out, man. I was like, COVID's the worst. And then my dad moved to Wisconsin, so fucking, I mean, that's what happens. XFL closes shop. My dad's all like, forget it. We did the best we could. We tried to. It's not going to work between us, man. And then he just got up and moved to Wisconsin. So all my daddy issues comes from the XFL folding.
I get it. Well, it's coming back. I don't know if the daddy issues are going to go away, but the XFL is coming back.
That's a good point. I don't know if it's going to... Like, can you imagine XFL comes back and my dad's like, I'm moving back to Arizona.
Let's go.
See, Kira's in the chat saying, I did my job. I stalled till producer was here. That's true. He did it successfully. He got us talking about enough
Appreciate
stuff.
it.
And Justin said, damn, you didn't stir up enough trouble. It's true. Also true. Let's see. I only got 2 more things to talk about real quick. Really one more thing, and then we'll give a few cheers, and we'll get to it, man. I don't want to drag on too long. But the Bella Twins said on a podcast interview, I don't know if it was their podcast or someone else's podcast they were interviewing. I forget. I don't read the details because it's the Bellas. But they said that within a 12-month period, they will both be making a return to WWE. What do you think about this, Bishop?
Well, you know me, women's wrestling above all. It starts there. And if them coming back sheds a light on it, cool. But it's kind of how stand-up comedians talk. Even if you're famous, you only got 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, if you don't make it, they're going to boo you. The Bella Twins, for me, were never good enough in the ring to hang with the talent that was there 3 years ago when they walked away, 4 years ago when they walked away, whatever it was. It's gotten exponentially better in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
That if they don't change their in-ring style, the character and the eyeballs is not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
It's just not. And it will completely, I mean, it's what we've been saying about Charlotte, right? If she tightens up the character and the in-ring work, she's undeniable. Well, the Bella Twins have the character. They don't necessarily have the in-ring work. I'm not going to shit on it because they work the style that they were supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Well, what women do today is fucking wrestling, man. And they need to step that game up. And if they can, I'm all for it. If not, then, hey, you're in the way.
Yeah. I hear that. I will say in defense of the Bella Twins, they did both make a return just 2 years ago. And they both came in with a lot of fanfare. It was during the Ronda Rousey stuff. I will say even before then, a year or two before that, Nikki was still on a run. And she did a rivalry with Natalia, which I think was imperative to Nikki's development. And I think that because of that, to be quite honest, I think that's why Nikki Bella is kind of leaps and bounds beyond Brie Bella when it comes to in-ring work. Specifically, the match that Nikki and Ronda Rousey had at Evolution, I think goes underrated. I think that people do overlook it because of the Becky and Charlotte match, which is, as you were saying before, completely undeniable. That is one of the greatest women's matches of all time. So it's unfortunate that Nikki's big return and big farewell, big match against Ronda was as good as it was and still kind of overlooked. But it was very good if you go back and watch it. The problem I'm having is it's been 2 years now. Now she's had a kid. Not that you can't have a kid and do this stuff. I mean, Asuka's got kids. So, and Mickie James has kids. They're 2 of the best in the company right now. I mean, there's some really good talent, but I'm saying I hold them in very high regard. My concern is that when Brie Bella came back after she'd had a kid, she was making a lot of mistakes and she hurt some people. She nearly hurt herself real bad. And her comment about it was that I've had a kid. My body's different now. I don't think I can do this the same way. And so if that's the mentality going into it, it makes me a little nervous for what we're going to get on the other side. That doesn't mean they couldn't, really apply themselves or something.
Yeah,
like I said.
I mean, look, from the outside looking in, I don't. Nikki doesn't put off the perception of humility that she's willing to take a back seat to many. That's the perception of Nikki I have. If I don't know her, but that's what I see. If she's willing to walk into the Performance Center and gain the humility it takes to wrestle at even just close to the level of what the women are doing today, then again, I'm all for it. She is an athlete. She is talented. She knows how to grab the crowd on both sides of the fence, heel and face. She is very good at both of that. My problem, of course, across the board is inside the ropes. Does it look like wrestling? And it never got that way with me. So yes, if she can do it, I'm all for it. But she's got to be willing to put the work in, not go in and be Nikki Bella. She needs to be a new version of what Nikki Bella is. Yeah.
No, I feel that. I hear that. I agree. I'm very curious. Kiro does said he made the joke that when John Laurinaitis was announced that he was coming back for talent relations, that the Bellas would be back pretty soon. And he goes, "Am I wrong?" And you're like, "Well, no." It's kind of funny when you think about it too in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laurinaitis was announced to come back, which is also funny because we're not insiders. We don't know anything. We just listen to a lot of what people talk about, and I have not heard great things about him as a talent relations guy from any source. which is really weird that he'd be coming back. So, but hey, I'm not an insider. I don't know. And a lot of times we hear stuff that's just flat out not true or stupid or that comes from disgruntled people anyway. So if he had to let someone go, then maybe, yeah, he's awful. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it might not have been his call. So I don't try to weigh too much on all that other stuff, but it did make me, take pause and go, huh. Let's see. Carol also says his NWA and WWE comment wasn't coming out of thin air. It was based off a quick dismiss comment Zicky made on a stream. It's also something that we've talked about before on the show because it's been kind of speculated for a while that WWE could always scoop up NWA, especially with the fact that they own a lot of the back catalog. So,
sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Never say never, as they say. As they never say never, they say. Whatever, dude. Producer's being mean. And she just got here. She's...
You did start the show without her, so...
I did it without her. You know what I mean? Like, that should be something that should count for something. Well, let's do just a couple of cheers and get into SmackDown. Shotzi and Iron Sheik birthdays. They had birthdays. Fuck. We should have started with this, man. My cheers, I'm too far in now. I can't cheers properly anymore.
That's what happens when I have to work.
Shotzi Birthheart Black Day. I'm drinking whiskey, dude.
Cheers to the birthdays.
Cheers to Shotzi Blackheart and Iron Sheik and their birthdays. A couple of not jabronis, if you ask me.
At least one of them for sure.
One of them we know.
A jabroni.
Yeah. There is no doubt that Iron Sheik is no jabroni. Let's see. Well, let's talk about SmackDown, man. Let's get into it. Anything else that you wanted to hit before we get going? We talked about our Fastlane show. We talked about your new terrible shirts.
Terrible wrestling tees. TWTs. TWTakesPodcast / TWTs. Coming soon.
Yeah. That's how he used his stimmy. Me? I bought a Schamberger.
And a pie from Black Bear Diner.
And a Black Bear Diner pie. That's how I use my stimmy. Pie and Schamberger. Yeah, I gotta watch. I got a new Apple Watch. Dude, I have they discontinued it. I have the old black and purple. It's my Undertaker wristband for the watch.
Nice.
30 years. 30 years in making. They stopped making this one years ago. I held on to it. I didn't even have a watch for years, but I was all like, when I get one, I'm bringing back this strap. Let's see, dude. Let's talk SmackDown. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man.
Anything happen or no?
No.
What am I looking at? This doesn't look right. Oh, they're using old pictures. Yeah, let's see. Well, Edge just opened up with Edge. Yeah, Sami Zayn's so fucking good. Let's see. Edge came out, called out Daniel Bryan, saying Daniel Bryan's being a little bitch, and Daniel Bryan comes out and says, "You's a bitch, dude. Don't bitch on me." And then the whole thing kind of fell apart. Let's see. I don't know, man. I thought it was awesome, actually. Edge and Daniel Bryan going back and forth had me actually really invested in them as a match. I really like these two. I really like these two on the mic, man. They really got me fed into the idea of Fastlane being an important match. So here's kind of what I was. We'll talk about more about what I was alluding to before, but here's the flip side of it. I've always thought of Fastlane as being a pay-per-view that is meant to be built around short-term stories that loom underneath the longer-term stories that are going to be paid off at WrestleMania, right? This is supposed to feel like a small bump in the road. It's supposed to be guys like Daniel Bryan saying, I need to get myself into WrestleMania. Guys like John Cena trying to get himself into WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Goldberg trying to get the title so he can take it to WrestleMania. What we are seeing, though, is right now we're seeing a lot of matches heavily built on Fastlane without the overwhelming feeling of the WrestleMania being the end goal necessarily. But this is one that's a flip of it. Daniel Bryan wants to go in here. He's going to have a match with Jey Uso. No, he's not.
No,
He's having a match with Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, yeah. And Edge is doing the Jey Uso match on Friday.
That's what it is, dude. I'm so backwards on my notes here. What the fuck did I write?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
This is a mess, man. I drank too much early in the show.
We just started.
We just got going, dude. I should have ate more, is what it is. I didn't have a... Fuck.
All right, so
Let's
whoever's listening, just walk away. Listen to my podcast from this weekend. I went live. We talked about SmackDown already.
Did the whole thing.
The
whole
takes
thing.
were definitely not terrible, because if they were, Marsh would not have had me on. He's a mark for my podcast. He listens to it while he drinks even more.
It's a good point. It's a good.
That was
drinking
just the voice in
material.
your head. That wasn't me, I promise.
I got you. Oh, dude. Let's see. So that built up into that. So we'll even just skip around on it.
Yeah, it's fine.
'Cause
It's fine.
I don't need to
Worry
like
about
go through this the whole way. Let's see. But Roman Reigns didn't show up for most of the show, but a lot of the show was about Roman Reigns. Like, it showed Jey Uso going to the back, not being allowed in. Then it showed Jey walking around the back and Edge being like, "Hey, dude, quit being a little bitch about stuff." And Jey Uso's like,
Yeah,
"You're gonna get got." Go ahead.
I thought his promo to Jay was really good.
Yeah.
And it had me. I didn't understand what they were doing, right? Because I try not to look too far into it. And they were setting up for the match that they called on later. And the idea of what they do with Roman, right? He's booked so strong and can't lose, and then he looks super vulnerable like he did last week when, it was Friday when he signed the contract. Like, they bounce around the vulnerability of Roman, and you don't think about Jay that way. So I was like, wow, did Edge really just get to Jay? And then by the end of the promo, it's like, better watch your back, because my family runs this show, and I'll knock you the fuck out too, you know?
Yeah. No, I thought that was awesome, yeah. And then as we get towards the end of the show, man, what was the main event, dude?
The main event was the contract signing.
The contract signing, that's what makes sense. Because I was all like, how do they all end up in the ring together? So they had that badass contract signing where Daniel Bryan's bringing up the point that he did the one thing Roman Reigns could never do, and that was tap out Jey Uso.
Yep.
And you could just see Roman's face change. And it was a subtle change, but it was there where he was all like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude. It was so dope. When he said that, I came in late too, right? Because I started working a part-time gig, and so I came home, got to see the main event, and then basically had to go back and rewatch the whole show, but I just started at the main event. And I came in, and I'm watching this contract signing happening, and I'm listening to Daniel Bryan, and I'm like screaming by the end of this thing, like, oh, shit! Couldn't even occur to me. And that's exactly what happened last week. Daniel Bryan tapped out Jey Uso, and in Hell in a Cell, Roman got Jey Uso to quit based off of beating the shit out of Jimmy. Had nothing to do with Jey.
Yep.
That is not the same.
And I had mentioned to you last week when I was on, like, why would Daniel Bryan attack Jey before the match?
Mm-hmm.
And it was to get him vulnerable, to tap him out, to now tell this part of the story. So when, not again, I don't. It's in my head, so I'm going to say, but when AEW fans are like, oh well, Kenny Omega and Hangman broke up, long-term storytelling. They didn't actually tell a story. They just wrestled together, and then they wrestled against each other. But like in this 2-week event, there's a little bit of a seed here where Daniel Bryan attacks Jey because Jey keeps sneaking Daniel Bryan, but also it was pre-match. It was for no reason. Then taps him out to tell the physical story of, hey, guess what you never did to Jey? And something nobody's thought about since this happened.
Yeah.
Adding details from the past is telling a story. Not doing something that you haven't done for 2 years is long term, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And if you look, there's been people who've been beating Jey, but I don't think any of them have tapped him out. I think they've all won off of a strike, knocking him out. Even when, because they had 2 matches, right? Roman and Jey. Yeah, so he didn't tap him out; he knocked him out, which is like, okay, anybody can get lucky with a good strike, right? But to get someone to say they quit is, it's always been portrayed as the bigger, more difficult thing to do. So super cool. And then Jey Uso saying he wants to get in the match. He's going to need to be an enforcer. Edge coming out saying like, fuck you, dude, not happening like that. And he's like, hey, let's have you and me have a match. And the second he says that, Jey Uso picks up, was it the table or the chair? It was like the table, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Picks up the table, throws it over and onto the ground. Like, not even, because there's a lot of times people flip stuff and you go, holy shit, they nearly hit the ring crew. You know what I mean? He did such a great job of controlling that table too. Like picking it up, walking it to the ring in this like one motion where you could throw it down to make sure that no one outside gets hurt because he's also smart. But it looked fucking hella aggressive.
Yeah.
And he just turns around and he goes, let's go! And also like, holy shit! Jay's fed up, dude. And all of his promos have been getting shorter and more aggressive. He's on thin ice, Jay. We've talked about how Edge got Roman to snap a little bit, that we saw him like really lose his cool for the first time ever, and Adam Pearce is making him lose his cool. But we're really seeing Jay really teeter, where he's trying to stay cool, but he can't get into the back room, and Paul Heyman's like, oh yeah, come back later. And he goes, oh, it's cool, man, it's cool. I gotta go run some stuff anyways. It's like weighing on him. Edge gets over to him. You can see it weighing on him, and then he kind of like turns to him and just says, you better watch your back too, because he's like, he's getting it, man. He's getting fed up. And here was a moment where a dude challenged him, and he fucking lost it immediately. He's like, I'm fucking tired of everybody challenging me, but at the same time, he's also the one who keeps saying, you have to go through me, and he's also tired of never being that wall.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to go through me, and everyone gets through me, and it's weighing on him, and you can see it in his character, and it's so fucking cool. Every time he cuts that promo and throws it into Daniel Bryan's chest, just, you know? Fuck.
Yeah, he's doing great. I tell you, I had mentioned this a couple times. When Edge challenged Jay to the match, I don't think I've been more excited for a Jay Uso match. That's the level that he's working on now. Like this is, and who's gonna win, right? Like your obvious mind goes Edge, but why? Because it's Edge. But when you look at Jay and everything he's capable of doing, because that's what he did the last 6 months, if Jay wins this match, I'm not surprised. Now, yes, of course, it's going to take something to get there, because in what wrestling does, you want to protect the Royal Rumble winner heading into WrestleMania, like all that blah, blah, blah shit. But man to man, these two wrestling each other, there is no clear winner based off of how they've been wrestling. Yeah. How they've been presented. That's amazing. To be able to build Jay Uso, and no offense because the Usos are awesome, but the Usos are awesome. Yeah. Jay has been losing the last couple weeks, and I still think he might win.
Yeah, because he's that fed up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because he's that level of pissed and tired of all of this. You know what I mean? That it feels like this could be Jay's moment to step up and beyond.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Every
match feels that way, but it feels like it's building and building and building. Where he was saying, remember, like, fuck, man, just I want to go back and just like watch all of his promos, because I remember them being cool and collected at first, and he gets a little hyped, but then as we're getting to him, Daniel Bryan says a thing, Jay Uso snaps the mic and there yells at him, gets in his face, and shoves the mic in his chest and says, "Let's do this." And he's pacing, he's walking, he's striking people because it's all pent up, man.
Yeah. I agree.
It's
doing
crazy
great work,
cool.
man.
Jay Uso is next level right now. Let me see. Speaking of next level, we got the SmackDown tag titles.
Well, that was an 8-man, right?
Yeah, that was the 8-man. It was Street Profits and Mysterios versus Dolph Ziggler, or the Dirty Dogs in the Alpha Academy. This match, surprisingly, I thought was really good.
It's awesome.
I didn't want this match at all. Yeah. And as it's going, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like everything was happening.
Yeah.
It was so good,
Yeah.
and I even thought that when Montez got the win, I was all like, "Fucking nice!" I've never liked them getting the win, but I was like, "Nice!" and I was like, "That is the way to do it."
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people complain, including one little Bishop over there, that champions taking pinfalls in non-title matches is something people don't like. I question how much wrestling those people have seen in their lifetime.
I just lost power in my house.
Your house just lost power?
Yeah.
That's how strong my words are.
Yeah, like you can't see my green screen anymore, right?
Oh yeah, no, your greens. Yeah, your lights went out, your green screen's out. Somehow you still have internet. Oh, are you on battery life on your on your device there?
It might have just been the fuse. No, my device is well, yeah. It's just my laptop.
As I mean, is it just on battery life now, not on a charger?
Yeah. Well, it's been holding on the charger, so it should be fine. Give me a second. Why don't you carry your own shot and save this?
All right, so he's gonna go check that out. That's a horror movie right there. Which one is like that? It's like a little Blair Witch happening down there. A lot of people were saying that they're not a big fan of champions taking pins during like non-title matches or big group matches like this. But I think that's especially in a division that is like a tag division right now, where it's not the highlighted division with a bunch of highlighted matches with like tournaments or number one contender things happening. Getting a pin over the champions is how you certify that you deserve a title shot. And tag matches is how you do that. How you get a pin over a champion without making the champion look bad or look weak, but enough to make them look vulnerable enough to maybe could they lose again? It's not a one-on-one, so the thing's different. It's enough to get the conversation going and enough to get people saying they should have a shot at it. Personally, I'm not thrilled it's another Street Profits versus Dirty Dogs again, because then it feels a lot like they gave the titles to the Dirty Dogs just to hold on to them for the Street Profits to get back and healed up because Montez had hurt his arm. But at the same time, it's like with as little as they did with the tag titles while the Street Profits were injured, you could have just also left it on them. So I don't know. A little bit weird, but I did like the match. I thought it was fantastic. Everyone in this match looked absolutely amazing. They all were top of their game on this one, and Montez got the win. So Street Profits are likely to be getting a title shot at some point here.
His green screen's there.
Oh, his green screen's back. So let's see. Justin says, outside of the illogical Otis teaming with Ziggler moment, the tag champions getting pinned. I thought the match. Oh wait, outside of the illogical Otis teaming with the Ziggler moment and the tag teams getting pinned, I thought the match was really fun and action packed. We about to see some paranormal activity shit on Bishop's side. That's right. Keep a look on. You're gonna check out some anomalies.
Hey guys.
As they say it on the ghost hunting shows. Did you find it? Did you get the ghost?
No.
No?
So it may happen again.
It's gonna happen again. They're gonna get you. We were looking for any kind of paranormal anomalies. I had my little stangrapher out seeing for spikes of EVP. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
You don't watch the ghost hunter shows?
No. I watch too much wrestling as it is.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't watch more fake stuff.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh,
Man.
wow, shots fired.
Wow. gonna get us heat with the ghost hunters out there.
With the ghost hunting the ghost hunting community.
Yeah, ghost hunting ghost hunting Twitter's gonna blow us up, man.
Yeah.
Grim Reaper's coming through saying hi. Grim Reaper,
What's up, Grim?
cheers. He refused to be on the show today. Once he heard you were going to be on Bishop. So.
Can I say?
So I think the match was awesome, and I think that people who think that getting a pin over the tag champions was a bad move, I think is just there's argument to be made that there's not enough storytelling in tag divisions, and there's argument to be made that there's not enough rivalries within the tag division, and the tag division needs more focus. But to me, if you're going to be lacking in those things, then getting a pin over the tag champions in a non-title match or a group match is how you build a number one contender, especially in a short period of time. The alternative to this is fucking Viking Raiders and Street Profits, and I don't need more fucking mini golf, dude. I'd rather...
No. All that's fine. And I completely agree with you. But wouldn't the other option then is be more creative?
Or give them more time. But SmackDown's only 2 hours, and you don't have... At least they don't have Drew McIntyre coming out for 4 segments in a night. You know what I mean? It's SmackDown.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But it's SmackDown, and their tag division is a little bit... It seemed to me, when you look at it, with the Alpha Academy, with the Mysterios, thinking about how they did... Who was it they went up against? They had Daniel Bryan involved with the Alpha Academy for a little bit. It seems to me like they've spent more time building credibility on other tag teams than on the champions.
Why would the Street Profits get the pin? They've been champions before. Why not let Ray or Dominic hit a frog splash for the pin. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you, but if anybody has stake at the claim of the titles, I mean, look what the New Day did, right? Oh, we got a match against them. Oh, look, now it's a title match the following week. The Street Profits can do the same thing. They're in the same boat. Since the draft, they had the titles. They're the only other ones. So then if you are going to pin the champion and you want to build that, again, don't disagree with you. If you want to go that way and build credibility in the tag division, then don't do it with the guys that just won the championship. Do it with the other guys in that match.
Yeah, no, I'm saying the Street Profits getting the win was because it looks like they're getting back to the Street Profits as champions, but now we're getting a division that has more than 2 teams.
Okay.
Where on the Raw side, it feels like we have 2 teams. On this side, it feels like, well, we have like 4 or 5 teams. The Street Profits just happen to be maybe the better in this match. Although I will agree, and I was saying, I don't know if you could hear it while you were fighting ghosts off, as you were busting ghosts, as they say. If they give the titles back to the Street Profits now, it's going to feel like the Dirty Dogs held it strictly just so the Street Profits could heal, and then they did very little with those titles while they did that, and that's going to bother me.
Right.
So what I'm hoping
Or
what
they
we
get
do
a
here,
WrestleMania moment now.
yes, yeah, let's give them a WrestleMania moment because they got to be in front of fans. Dude, I'm so tired of these pity fucking parties.
What
man.
fans? Nobody can buy tickets.
No, yeah, they pushed it back. They pushed it back again, yeah. Let's see. Grim Reaper said, I just loved this Raw Reset episode for WrestleMania storylines. Forget everything before today. Yeah, that was pretty good. And Just in Time says he's got his fingers in his ears because you said the forbidden F word. Let's see. We had Cesaro versus Murphy. That was a great match for what it was for a minute and a half before Rollins gets involved in it. Although, I'm not upset by any of this, to be honest. If we're getting ourselves to a real Cesaro versus Rollins match on something like a Fastlane or a Mania, I'm all about it. And I don't think anybody's doing poorly in any of these situations.
No, agreed. I thought we had fucking incredible wrestling between Murphy and Cesaro. I was all for it. And then, yes, all of a sudden, Seth goes, nah, man, let me hit you while you're swinging Murphy. Son of a bitch.
It's so funny that that's like the crux of this storyline now is that
swing?
Seth Rollins hates the swing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He like takes the swing so personal. Remember in the match before, he's like, he's doing it because of me. He's just doing it in my face. Like, he did it every match, dude.
They should have a match in Alexa's Playground. There's 2 swings there.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So you remember said SmackDown didn't really reset anything yet because Fastlane is a big time pivot point for most of the SmackDown storylines. Yes. And that's what I'd rather. Right? SmackDown has made Fastlane feel like a stop on the way to WrestleMania to try and highlight the importance of WrestleMania matches, where Raw feels like an absolute halting stop, like a fucking speed bump, get down to first gear.
Yeah.
And then inch over it so you can then just go over to your WrestleMania ways that you were going to do anyways. So let's see the other thing we had on here. You know what I was really surprised they did not have on here? Because we didn't talk about it the last time, and I was hoping you and I would, but we didn't, was the Sweet Tweets segment that Bailey did with the Ding Dong Hello show. It was really funny. They did it 2 weeks ago. They kept it really short. It was like a minute and a half. It really felt like they're like, Bailey, you got a minute and a half. Get out there, do something, go. And she was like, I got you. And just did that thing. And it was so good, well put together, moved on. I don't know why they didn't do that again. It was like a minute and a half. Keep that going.
Agree. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I know that we actually talked about it pre-show last week, how good it was, and then we never talked about it on the show. Oddly enough. So this week we are talking Rhea Ripley on Raw because we went 2 times on here without talking about Rhea Ripley getting advertised for Raw. But yeah, to not utilize that, because I even felt like it was less than a minute and a half, honestly, when she first did it. I thought that it's just a good use. It's good use. Keeps the character going. Keeps her in front of us.
Does he sound normal to you? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great way to keep the character on screen, keep the character fresh, keep it important, but really weird that they just
Do I need to fix my mic for you?
No, it's my headphones. They do it from time to time. We'll find out. I think I just lost audio. It's all right. It's all right.
Is this an audio? Is this a episode 1 or?
I can hear him, but it's just a little choppy. So we'll do this.
Okay.
So we did have. I do agree that I don't know why they wouldn't do Bailey for a minute and a half. That's all it takes for her to get over like that. But they did do the KO show with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. which led into a match of Tamina and Natalya. Am I way off in saying something about their chemistry and the mics have been kind of off?
Who?
Sasha and Bianca. Their promos against each other have been kind of weird.
It's everything between them that has been weird. The chemistry, period, is not adding up. Whatever story they're trying to tell between them is not making sense. So I don't know how to quantify anything they're doing politely. It's not just the microphones. It's when they're wrestling together. So if they're trying to do that on purpose to be meta, I guess I'm too old for that. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, they're not clicking. And then even when they're doing the anti-Reginald stuff, they're both like the beginning of what Sasha and Bianca do. Sasha is acting like the heel, doing that stupid fake fucking laugh.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the match, Bianca's acting like the heel. You cost me the match. You need to fix this. And, I said it early on when she was with Bayley. If you tone the attitude and the sass back, Bianca just shines as a babyface. She glows as a babyface. She's so beautiful. She's in perfect shape. She's easy to cheer for. You put up the Royal Rumble moment where she's crying. Wonderful babyface.
Yeah.
Every time the attitude comes through, it's like, I don't like you. I don't like you.
Yeah.
And that's what she does when they lose a match.
It is. You know what kind of reminds me of? And this is probably not going to be the best thing I could possibly say, but it feels a little bit like when Brandy Rhodes came out and cut that promo on Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
And it really turned up a certain aspect of Brandy's character and personality that we never saw before. And I feel like that's what happens with Sasha and Bianca when they're talking to each other. It kind of turns up this side of their personality that we're not used to. And
you're
me,
right.
It's changed a little weird.
Well, honestly, I think we've seen it out of both of them in the past, right? But when you're building towards a match against each other, why would you try to outdo each other with that aspect of your character?
Yeah.
And that's the disconnect for me, is that they're outdoing each other with the attitude as opposed to execution, actual content in what they're saying, the way the match goes. We've seen plenty of frenemy tag teams. They get in the ring and like, look what I can do. And then get in the ring, look what I can do. And they don't even do that.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's really weird. I think they're dropping the ball a bit, but I'm holding my my criticism for what the actual match is going to be, because that's where I have my biggest reservations. So,
well, and then my concern being that they have a title shot at Fastlane, and I don't understand why they have to have the tag titles here. I don't understand why they got to be part of this at all. I don't understand how it helps this rivalry by making them friends with animosity. Like, couldn't you just have them be rivals? Couldn't you just be building Bianca as a badass who deserves to be there and not somebody who keeps falling to Sasha's games or some shit? Like, I don't understand how Reginald's involved. I don't understand how the tag titles are involved. I don't understand how teaming them up makes me invested, because it really doesn't. It's making me less invested, and it makes it look a little transparent, because the first thing I said when I saw the match announced, I even said it on the show, it was live on episode 1 when the news of the match dropped. It wasn't even on one of their shows. And I was all like, oh my God, they're going to do this. And I was like, now they're doing this so that way they can have this stupid turn. So now Sasha can cost Bianca the titles, and now it's this big. Now there's rivalries. Like they don't need that part. It's too transparent. Producer said something she wanted to say.
Reginald confuses me too, because Sasha was not interested in him, so I don't know why she even cares about him at all now, and why he's being paraded in front of her as if she should give a shit.
Yeah, there's
doesn't make sense.
There's no sense to Reginald being involved at all. It's been so forced and shoehorned, and Sasha's character doesn't seem to like him or want him around. He keeps coming around anyways. It's so weird. It feels off, like you said, and Justin says it in the chat too. Forget about the promos. Everything about this program just feels off.
Yeah.
And it
sucks.
does. It sucks
we were
because this should
excited
be
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This should be the match that everyone's clamoring for, it everybody wants, and right now that's all it is a match that people want, but not a story that anybody cares about. They're not telling it the right way. And I've said it before. We'll talk about it too real quick. I'll just throw it out there now because I didn't really mention it before because it's still fucking rumors. There's a rumor going around that Andrade asked for his release from the WWE and was told no. A lot of people were saying a lot of things about it, and this is proof of this and that, or I hope he goes whatever. And all at the end of the day, all I could think, and it's a bit of a shame, was I thought, okay, fine, but because in my mind, everyone's saying like he's an incredible wrestler. Yeah, so is every fucking buddy else that we watch on TV, guys.
No, that's true. Yeah,
he is incredibly talented, incredibly good, and I'm not invested in him as a character or as a performer. He's fantastic, yes, but he's never gotten me invested. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, go. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I can watch incredible matches all day long, every day. I don't have to watch a new product if I don't want. I can go back and watch all the old incredible matches. Incredible matches and incredible wrestlers are not hard to find at this point. Incredible storytelling and drawing in investment and working that believability, that's where people shine now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it can come from both ways, right? Remember when we really didn't get a build to Carmella Sasha and they had that match at was it TLC? Mm-hmm. And then after that match we're like, holy shit. Then they told the story afterwards, and every time they told the story afterwards, it was working. Mm-hmm. And then they had more matches and they told a really good story. Now, I don't think it amounted to anything except for investment in both of them, and Carmella doesn't wrestle anymore for some reason, but you were building the strength of Sasha as a character, and now we don't have that strength of Sasha as a character anymore. The way she came off of Bayley, the way she came off of Carmella, we were looking at one hell of a champion. Yeah. And that's going away. So it's not that, I'm going to block out, how bad that they're telling this story. It's that I don't care. And I want to. And that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Grim Reaper says, Reginald is a mole for Nia Ajax against Sasha. I think those dots will be connected on Friday with the SmackDown Women's title match on Sunday's tag title match. Jackson Reggie sitting in a tree. Is this the episode that they did the stupid...
the shopping?
The shopping? Yeah. Was that this show?
Yeah.
How fucking garbage was that, dude?
It's standard. I mean,
is it?
How else are you going to do that? How else are you going to do that segment?
How else are you going to do the segment? Don't do the segment. What did the segment do for anybody? So we've already established that Shayna and Nia don't care to be a tag team, and we don't know why. This has been their ongoing storyline the whole time, and they just remain tag champions for no fucking reason. We already established they're not friends. Then Corey Graves even makes a really good point when they come out of it, and he goes, typically when you go shopping, first off, Michael Cole wouldn't even say a fucking word about it. He laid out. It came back, and he was all like, okay. And then Corey's like trying to piece it together in his own mind, and he said it's a bit of a weird situation. Typically when you go shopping, you buy clothes you don't already own.
Yeah.
And I was all like, fuck, that's so funny. But flip that shit around.
Yeah.
What if that was Reginald sitting there buying shit for Carmella? Carmella's walking out in different outfits, and then Carmella does a turnaround, spin around for me, and then Reginald smacks Carmella on the ass and says, go put on another one. How would that be received?
No, I get it.
Producer has something she wants to say real quick?
Just as a woman, I didn't find it interesting. So it's not even just you as a guy saying you don't like it. As a woman, I was not entertained. I thought it was just crap reality TV. I honestly had no idea. I was like, oh, are divas back? Are total divas back? I was so confused.
Did it give you the feeling that... Did it portray women as being at a better or higher place?
No, it didn't. Because unlike Carmella, it wasn't like I'm in control and I don't know, there's any sort of like turning the tables in that terms. It was more of just, oh, I'm going to objectify you and deal with it. And he's like, okay. All right, buy me things. It didn't. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me.
What did Justin does say? Rumor said it got some funny Shayna memes, which I don't disagree with, and says Shayna's reaction was pretty much a lot of people's reaction. I hope so too. Bishop, what did you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you guys, and it was a take-in segment. It just, if you felt one way, that's fine. If you feel another way, that's fine. I get it where, like you're saying, if you want to reverse that, no, it's not received well at all. And it would usually be done way too heavy in the comedy too, right? You'd have Jerry Lawler in the corner just screaming puppies, oh my God, or can I wear that after you, or some shit like that. So like in this version though, it gives you okay, this is why Reginald walked out with them. This is why, it's a seed planted in the two of them breaking up. But also Reginald suggested that Nia go after Sasha's title. And was it Reginald that suggested that Shayna should go after Asuka's title on Raw?
Maybe.
So
I didn't see Reginald on Raw, I didn't think. Maybe I missed it.
Okay, I don't remember. A lot of podcasting. I gotta do my show and yours. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. You're doubling down right now.
But no, he's adding something. No. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not gonna defend it and make sure people like it. I get it. I get why people wouldn't like it. But most of the time when I see stuff like this, it's just okay. That happened. But now I know why when they walk out together, he's there. Because if he just showed up with them, you're gonna go, well, why is he there? Well, that's why. Because Nia wants to suffocate him.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. Maybe I just don't want him to be there right now. As much as I think he's incredibly talented and a really good character, I guess I don't see how he fits in a place that makes sense to me. But it doesn't always have to make sense to me, especially if it comes down to like weird relationship stuff. None of that shit makes sense to me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I have no idea why producer's still here. I'm going to be honest. No clue. It doesn't make any sense to me. But here we are. You know what I mean? Still there?
Yeah. What do you want me to say to that? I'm glad she's there. I don't know. What the fuck?
Yeah, so good. She knew her headphones in, didn't even know what you said, but like repeated exactly what you said. It's so funny. The only other thing that happened on SmackDown that we didn't talk about was Big E versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. This was such a highlight to me. First off, Big E's fucking incredible. He only needs to be... His promo is so fucking good. And here's the deal. People go like, oh, can he be serious? He's got to be serious. This whole back and forth goofy versus serious talk about Big E, I thought got squashed weeks ago, months ago even, when he said the thing he said on Talking Smack, because it came out to me to be as long as he stays himself, which is a jovial, joking entertainer. Then the moment he becomes a little bit serious, it feels like a lot serious because we know who he is. We know he's jovial. So it would be insulting to our intelligence, correct? Right? That's what we keep saying about fucking wrestling. Let's not mention the bullshit on the other shows. That it's very insulting to your intelligence to try and say, okay, now he's a serious person. He's no longer jovial. He no longer enjoys to have fun. He doesn't want to entertain people anymore. He just wants to be serious and a champion. That would be insulting to our intelligence. Here's a character who's dynamic, who we already know, and is an established jokester, coming out and getting serious. So now it feels more real. It feels like there's something more to it because we know who he really is. You know what I mean?
Sure. And, a lot of it's just not taking time to properly invest, because even as you're talking, I'm still thinking of him sitting on that couch with the popcorn and the fridge, and something like that leaves him to be vulnerable, and he was vulnerable by doing that. Mm-hmm. And, it took a while for him to build to not do that. And I get that. That's, building the character, telling the story. Eventually he'll be out there with the couch again. And what you're saying will hold completely true. So by the end of it, if I don't rush to judgment, I'm on board with you. I just take a little bit longer, I guess. But no, you're correct. He is all facets of his personality, which is a good thing. Yeah,
I love it. Even, I forget which promo it was. He was out there joking, and then he said like a couple serious things, which is kind of the serious tone, and kind of went back to joking. People were like, oh, we almost did it. Like, no, he definitely did it because he worked you into thinking that he was showing that it's more serious if I'm not always serious. And it was fucking good. And this was incredible. And what's better to offset the jokey and seriousness nature of Big E than Corbin coming out, getting ready to take his open challenge in his nice suit, and Sami Zayn right behind him. No, wait. I challenge. I accept the challenge. It's on camera.
What are you doing? I was accepting the challenge. What are you doing?
Corbin is such a good fucking.
It's the fucking best.
He's
so
so
good.
funny with that. Why is this happening? Is like
I was out here. What are you doing? I was accepting the challenge. You didn't say it. We got it on camera. You didn't say it. It was fucking amazing. So good.
points to his camera crew.
Yeah.
So good.
And then
So
Corbin
good.
just has to eat it. Like, there's nothing Corbin could do.
Yeah, he's like, I guess I didn't say it yet. Dude, they're so good at this. And then the smart,
You good?
I got it. The
All right.
talking smack that Sammy came out and did with Paul. I don't know if you saw that. It was fucking incredible.
don't
If you haven't
watch it.
seen it. It was so good. I was floating around the internet a little bit because he comes out and he was like, he was sitting there saying, he goes, I thought maybe it was in my own head. Maybe I'm just, it's just, maybe it's all me. Maybe I'm not that good. He's like, and I thought maybe there isn't actually a conspiracy. He goes, but then Paul, he goes, you said it. You said it on this show that you were a part of the conspiracy against Sami Zayn on Raw when you were director of Raw, that you guys intentionally did things to get in my way. And Paul Heyman was like, kind of like nodding a little bit. And he was like, I just wanted to thank you for giving me the smoking bullet or whatever they call it. I don't remember. The smoking gun, the garlic bullet. I don't remember how it goes. I'm not a detective.
Me neither.
You know?
But no, I thought the Big E Sammy match was awesome. I thought they have really good chemistry. And if we get, full proper Sammy, full proper Big E, main stage, no bullshit, should be incredible. But I think we're headed for something else with everything Apollo's building.
And I love everything Apollo's doing, man. I fucking love it.
It's really cool.
It's so good. And again, I'm going to reiterate to people, if you haven't heard the After the Bell with Corey Graves and Apollo Crews, it's the one where he also does it with Bobby Lashley. It's incredible. And it gives you a huge insight into this character that he's leaning into. So I love everything that's happening in the whole Intercontinental title picture right now. And it feels true to form, right? Like the way that they used to talk about the Intercontinental title being the workhorse title.
Yeah.
This feels like it. I mean, honestly, we have Apollo Crews, Big E, Baron Corbin, and Sami Zayn all in the conversation with the Intercontinental title. Those are fucking good performers.
And out of the ring, too. They're building it out of the ring as well, which is great.
Yes. Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
all
not,
their
honestly,
characters.
it's and to do it without calling for the title of it. It's we understand who the son of this solar system is. That's Big E. We are coming for Big E. And we are talking about Big E, and they're lifting the title in unison. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's also making the Intercontinental title look so prestigious, as it were, so wanted. Everybody wants to crack at that now. Where there's a long time people hold it, and just no one seems to be going after it. And right now we have like a division going after it, which I'm
great.
loving. Let's talk Raw.
Yeah, man.
I think we got everything we're going to say about that. So Raw is
War.
Kind of. Man.
Well, what is it good for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what is it good for? What are they doing with Drew McIntyre, dude? Like, so they open the show. They come out, so they do the effects.
Ugh.
Welcome to the Thunderdome. WWE Thunderdome. You know what I mean? They do a little
No,
intro.
I don't. Is that what it sounds like when you're in the Thunderdome?
Every time I'm in the Thunderdome, that's what I'm screaming, yes.
Oh, okay, because they don't say that on TV, so.
Oh. No, that's how it goes. Thunderdome. Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome is also the Old West? Is that what I'm getting at here?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Corral. Okay, Thunderdome. You know what I mean?
But yeah, the credits were rolling, and then they announced the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, what the fuck? Dude, I just about threw my phone at that moment because there's all like, here we go. And they start playing fucking the Weeknd song. I don't remember what it is now. Their WrestleMania songs the past couple years have been less than exciting.
Right.
You got Bad Bunny. I'd rather heard some Bad Bunny music. I'm not listening to the lyrics
his
anyways.
Entrance is awesome.
His entrance
I love
is so
Bad Bunny's
fucking
entrance.
good.
I'm like, why is it so good? Why do I want to see his entrance all the time?
So good. They got those
Why
fucking
is his
bunny
entrance
medallions.
amazing?
And, oh my god! And then he even does a pose. Little fucking like Dr. Evil pinkies up to his mouth kind of a deal. I don't know what he's
double
doing.
Bunnies.
The double bunnies. Fucking love it, man. Bad Bunny is one of the greatest champions we've ever had.
Easily.
So, yeah, they're still rolling the credits, and they're all like, oh, and by the way, we're going to get Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Welcome to the show. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you guys got weeks to build this. You guys could have at least waited for one promo. Because what did they follow that with? A goddamn Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley promo. You couldn't have waited till after that to make the graphic? Like, you had to do it first? That immediately shit all over it for me.
So when people outside of WWE fandom talk shit on WWE, what they don't quite understand is the way we look at it, or at least I do. They say, oh, well, they have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as their developmental. If WWE was in control of all three shows in the same facet, why is the storytelling so enthralling on NXT, captivating on SmackDown, and almost fucking pointless on Raw?
It's weird, right?
It's three completely different shows. And yes, you want presentation differences, so they look different, right? You want character differences. You know, you don't want to have two Bray Wyatt style characters, right?
Yeah.
You have that. But there's like nobody's touching the Alexa storyline. Whoever is telling that story definitely isn't telling anything else on Raw. And nobody who's touching shit on Raw is touching that storyline. Because it's the only thing that's making sense. And it's the most non-believable story they have. But something as simple as building the match to fucking WrestleMania. You literally, you know what it told me?
Huh.
Sheamus is losing at Fastlane. Sheamus is losing to Bobby Lashley. Because you're not going to pin Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre before WrestleMania. So why are we going to watch Drew McIntyre and Sheamus on Sunday? Why? For what?
No fucking clue. That's what they did. They announced two matches at once. Because, like, as they're doing that, they're also popping up a graphic on the bottom. It's like, and then on Fastlane, we got Drew versus Sheamus. I'm like, for fucking what? Right. Why? This is Fastlane. It's supposed to be your Fastlane to WrestleMania. Are you telling me that it's to get a match with Bobby Lashley? Because if that were the case, you wouldn't have already announced the fucking match with Lashley already.
Ta-da.
You know what I mean? Like, why couldn't you at least wait? Why couldn't you say, hey, Drew, I want this match? And Bobby Lashley's all like, I don't know, man. I'm not a real big fan of yours. I think you can take that sword and swallow it. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple swords you can swallow, right? Carnival stuff, right? Circuses, Coney Island. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you're pretty far from there now, but you've heard of it. He knows. Well, he's probably had a Knish, right? You know the mustard on the Knish. There's no way he doesn't know. Even from Delaware, they got to know about Coney Island and Knishes.
Oh, man, hysterical.
Is that not the case? Right, maybe you guys don't have... What do you guys got over there? Jersey Shore? Is that what you guys have over there?
We're good.
Do you guys have the Jersey Shore over there? Is that what you guys have? Still don't know what side of the water you're on. You know what I mean?
He hates you so much. He's never going to help us again.
Justin says, love how they...
The next time you text me to come on the show, I'm going to play you this clip.
Yeah. You're like, I was thinking about it, but I just remembered no fucking way. That's what I remembered. Justin says, love they said no antiquated rematches, but just hand Drew his rematch. WWE seriously thinks that we are fucking stupid and forget this stuff. No, it's not that they think you're stupid. It's they think that you don't care. And there's a difference. Right. There's a huge difference. And you know what? When you see stuff on the internet, you can understand why they think that nobody cares. Because what do they see over in AEW? A bunch of shit that nobody has any sense in liking, and they just say, it's okay because it's wrestling. That's why I hate the term wrestling. You'll never hear it on this show except when I'm talking about why I don't like it. I never say I like watching wrestling. It's just wrestling. I hate that term because it undermines the art of what we're watching. And it says, hey, sometimes it's just fucking silly, and sometimes it is, but it doesn't have to always be. But when we constantly defend and deflect from things that aren't good just for the sake of supporting some billionaire, at the end of the day, let's be honest, it undermines the idea that they don't think you're stupid. They just know you don't care because they see you talk about it all week long. You know what? I don't care. You know what I saw today even? I saw a tweet someone put out. May have been a joke, may not. It's hard to tell. You don't know the tone. It showed a picture of the graphic of Sasha versus Bianca, and it literally said, if you don't think that this should be the main event for WrestleMania, then you are a racist. It may have been tongue-in-cheek. I don't know. It's hard to read tone. I didn't read any of the comments. I didn't see any of the other stuff. It may have been a joke. But at the end of the day, that's probably a sentiment that's out there. I mean, it's out there now. People liked it. People retweeted it. So what does that tell you? We don't care about the story. We want that match to be in the main event. End of story. We don't need anything else. None of the else needs to happen. So it's not that they don't think that you're going to forget or think you're stupid. They go, oh, well, they don't care. They just want exactly what they want, the way that they want it, and they don't care how we get there. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And look, I've had my reservations about what people should care about on the internet for a while. And I got back into this after WrestleMania 30, where the entire wrestling business changed because the crowd stole the main event, right? They're the ones that put Daniel Bryan into that main event. That one is well documented. If it wasn't for the crowd, the internet, and all that shit, Daniel Bryan doesn't get that title. Okay.
Yep.
Now they think they can do it with everything. Yeah. Well, shouts to Connor's Cure. I have a pin and a bracelet, so I've donated.
I got a pin and bracelet and a t-shirt. I want to get the new t-shirt, but
excuse me for not having a t-shirt.
Dude, some of those shirts are dope though. Not all the designs are great, but some of them are good. I got the one where it shows his silhouette doing this. I love it.
Honestly, the women's SmackDown title match at WrestleMania, I believe it was Orlando, was announced for the pre-show. And they had no place to put it on the main card. They squeezed it in the main card, and I think there was like 6 or 8 women in it. It took longer to get into the ring for all women. They didn't all get a proper entrance. Yeah. And the match was not long enough. And it's because the internet was like, you better put that in there. You better put that on the main show. Well, how about we just get the best story with the best match? New Day versus the Usos. I don't remember what year it is, but SummerSlam pre-show was the match of the pre-show. Was the match of the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah.
SummerSlam a couple years ago. It was the match of the pay-per-view. Why? Because it was that fucking good. And they were telling great stories leading into it. But they didn't have a place for it. Okay. If the story is being told,
they had a couple tag matches on kickoff shows, and that's why they've never been on a kickoff show since. Because for that the Hell in a Cell and for that SummerSlam, those matches were so fucking good, people would not stop talking about them. There were more people talking about those matches than the main event for weeks. So it's like, all right, well, we can't keep putting them on the kickoff. People are willing to pay for it.
And when you tell the story leading into it, and you become undeniable in the ring and with the storytelling, you won't touch the kickoff show. And when it becomes a movement, a la Becky getting punched in the face to face Ronda, and the way they were telling that story, even without touching, you build to a main event. It wasn't gratuitous that was in the main event. There were better matches before it. It was a little bit of a letdown in its execution, but that built properly to the main event.
Yeah.
And this could have, but it's not doing it. But that's SmackDown. We're talking about Raw.
Yeah.
Which that one shouldn't main event either. Bobby versus Drew shouldn't main event. And I'm not racist because it's not that I don't want Bobby there. It's that I actually don't want Drew there. And I also want a better fucking story heading into WrestleMania.
Yeah. There's no story on why Drew gets it. He just gets it because that's what Drew does. And it made me so fucking mad. There's no reason why the match for Fastlane shouldn't be. It should have had open up with a promo. You have Bobby Lashley come out. You have Drew saying, I'm going there. I'm taking the title. You have Bobby come out and say, who the fuck is you, dude? You don't just come up and take titles. Like, you don't even have a match. I'm not giving you a match. Then you have Sheamus coming out and being like, I'll fucking knock his head off for you. And Bobby Lashley's like, go ahead, do it. And then Drew's all like, I'm only going to do it if you put that title up on the line. What are you talking about? I'm not in the match. He's like, I'll take on Sheamus at Fastlane in any kind of match you want to do. But if I beat him, you're giving me that fucking title at Mania. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then boom, now you have a story with compelling characters. You have the heels working together in a fashion, and you have a badass looking baby face. But instead, you got Drew coming out there calling Bobby a bald bitch. I don't know why bald had to be a part of it.
Yeah.
A big bald bitch. Fuck,
he's been bald his entire career. It doesn't bother him.
Yeah, he didn't go bald.
Right.
You didn't startle him with that one. He was like, what?
He's doing the most heel thing of all time, and that's the thing. You've been saying it forever, and I will always give you credit. Every time Drew comes off as a heel, I will give you guys credit for that. You've been saying it forever. And it's not even on the way that I'm disliking Sami Zayn. It is on the way he is doing things. He is just, you don't call the champion someone you are worthy of defeating a big bald bitch. That's you resorting to, the last bullet in the chamber because you got nothing left. Like, well, you're just a bitch. Well,
Yeah.
all right. Well, your mom. Like,
Yeah, 100%. That comes off weak. It doesn't.
Yeah.
That's not psychology. That's not getting into his head. That's being scared and trying to get the other person flustered. There's a difference.
here's a terrible wrestling take for you.
Yeah.
The Miz should still be champion right now. Because out of that opening segment, that first 45 minutes of the show, and then even to what the Miz ended up doing later, he fucking carried them through what was happening. Plus MVP. MVP's phenomenal. But
MVP's so good.
what the Miz did to tie everything together, he baited Bobby into thinking that they should have a rivalry together.
Yeah.
And then the only reason Drew comes out is because, like, the Miz is going to take his spot at WrestleMania now, But I don't know. I feel like the only one really putting in an effort you can watch on TV is the Miz.
I think Bobby Lashley's given a good effort.
He's trying. His promo was trash.
Well, I mean, it was better than he's done. He's improving, but he's got MVP there for a reason. But then for Drew to be all fucking stupid about that too. Well, what's this relationship all about? What? What are you talking about? How do you not get it? You know what it felt like? It felt like when Coach was on commentary, which, by the way, fuck that dude. He can block. I don't care. You can block me. He's on commentary. The Bar sits down with him, Sheamus and Cesaro, and he goes, so you guys call yourselves The Bar. What's that about? And they went, what? And he goes, I mean, why would you call yourselves that? And Sheamus literally goes, hey, Corey, you want to tell your friend there about watching the show? And Corey's all like, well, they've been saying it for well over a year now, Coach. And he's like, that's what it felt like. Like, Drew doesn't know what's happening in his own fucking company.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the top dog. You have no idea what's happening. Ooh, what's this? It's fucking stupid, dude.
He's the only reason that you have incredible legitimacy, or used to have incredible legitimacy across the characters of Bobby Lashley and Shelton and Cedric.
Yeah, and on top of that, the best you can do storyline-wise, if Drew wants to kayfabe it, if he wants to pull a Tony Khan and say, I meant something else, then he could come out and say that what he's trying to do is to get MVP to leave Bobby Lashley because he realizes that MVP is the one who talked Bobby Lashley into the title match against Miz. That it was MVP that got Bobby Lashley the title match, not Bobby. That if it weren't for MVP, Miz would still be champion and Drew could take it off Miz. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but say that. I can't do what ifs. You know what I mean? I got to go off of what's on TV, and what's on TV just, it ain't cutting it. Especially with Drew.
That's what I mean. If you wanted to come out later on and be like, there's something else, good.
Yeah, that absolutely.
Justin Time says, I completely agree with what Marsh said on episode 1, that this whole thing just feels like a pity party for McIntyre, and I hate saying that, but it really shows that it's coming off that way. And this is the episode that really made me go, fuck! Because we're watching, it opens up with, and Bobby gets his match, and I was like, or not Bobby, he's like, and Drew McIntyre gets his match, and then Drew comes out and goes, oh, I get whatever I want. Ugh.
Why?
Yeah, why? And then Bobby comes out. But Bobby comes out to fucking lightning. And this is what I want to say. Yeah. He comes out to lightning. He's the almighty and calls for lightning. Undertaker style. Then they have this giant graphic of Bobby Lashley just looking like an absolute beast. And then they show all these footage clips of Bobby Lashley just ripping people in half and eating their heads off their spines. And you're like, fuck, this dude's incredible. He's an absolute terror. How could anyone beat him? And then that's where Drew McIntyre comes in. Ooh, that's what I'm here for. Yeah, I'm going to get my own little match back. Yep. Fuck you, dude. This felt like the moment they did that intro after they'd already done McIntyre's sword swallowing. I was so pissed because I said, oh, fuck. All of this build to make sure Bobby Lashley looks like fucking everything is just for Drew, just so they can tell Drew, well, we can't give you Brock again, but we'll make you a new Brock real quick so you can defeat him at WrestleMania and get your little cheers.
No.
No, and that's what it felt like. It felt like Brock wasn't going to sign on the dotted line, and they realized that. Therefore, they made the match at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we can't get Brock, so let's do this. And I hear you. I mean, for Drew to come out, interrupt that, get his full entrance before he actually grabs a microphone, and then tries to level with Bobby, right? Oh, well, it took us both 16 years, and we finally won. We had to leave and go to Impact and come back.
Which, by the way, that's
this.
been growing. It was 10 years when Drew first started this whole thing. Then the second Bobby got involved, it was 16 years. And then when Bobby said it's been 16 years, Drew said it's been 17 for him.
Nice.
It's been growing every time. I get so pissed every time he does that. Him and his goddamn growing
It's
sword.
like Andre's weight at WrestleMania 3.
Exactly that. It's 100% Andre's weight at WrestleMania. He was like a good 9,000 pounds at the time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's insane. And maybe that's what the Hulkamania moment was for, to really turn him heel and not know how to count. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we're going to be so pissed if Bobby loses.
And that's just it. Bobby Lashley's got a lot of fanfare behind him. People were real happy about that. And I wonder if WWE was all like, whoa, uh-oh.
Yep.
Everybody liked that? But they'll hate him by the time we get there, right? But no, you have a fucking McIntyre. Go ahead.
I heard a couple podcasts say that in the process, and this is how good The Miz is, that in the process of what he did to give Bobby the title, in that moment, turned the Hurt Business babyface.
Yep.
Now, they haven't presented themselves that way. They're still too edgy to give a shit about your cheers. But if they really wanted to have the Hurt Business take the ball and run with it as a dominant babyface faction, they absolutely could in this particular moment. But to your point, they're building Bobby to seemingly lose it to Drew, as opposed to build Drew for Bobby to dominate.
Yes. And that's what they should be doing, is Drew's out here talking like a little bitch. Dude, his fucking petulant name calling, his entitlement, all of it. I'm like, this dude is a goddamn heel. Then he's got this match going with The Miz. And by the way, he's bragging during his fucking promo. Ooh, I put away Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes. What did you do? Nothing. You was Miz. Ooh, I can put away Miz quicker. And then he fucking has like a 15, 20-minute match with The Miz.
It reminded me of a kid trying to one-upping his friend.
He was definitely trying to one-up his friend.
17 years.
17 years?
So I got $11.
Yeah. I got millions of dollars. No, you don't, dude. I've got like 1,000 quarters. Go ahead.
Another disconnect with me when it comes to this guy is that he, again, had to be compromised leading into the bell ringing, right? He had to be holding a rope, grabbing his stomach. Didn't he do that with Sheamus? If not a week ago, a week before, whatever it was. Every time when The Miz won the title, it was, oh, here's Drew compromised but still getting up. No, ring the bell. Like, stop with the compromised Drew. He's not. It comes off so Charlotte-esque that
so stupid.
This is the pre-match adversity and how bad I have to get beat down. But hey, I can still win.
Here's the problem with it. What they're trying to do.
It doesn't feel natural.
It's not natural. It's also way phony. Here's the problem with it, too, is he was like fucking fake fighting with a goddamn broken jaw for months. Meanwhile, Finn Balor has a real broken jaw back down in NXT, and we watch him spit up neon blood going, holy shit, that's a broken fucking jaw. And then Drew's like, oh, my jaw here, oh, it hurts real bad from all the sword swallowing. Fuck out of here. And so they pull this shit. The reason it feels so goddamn phony, or the reason I think they're doing it, is because what they're trying to do is traditionally a babyface fights from underneath, right? So when they talk about getting the heat on someone, it just feels weird to like try and say, because I'm not teaching wrestling.
I really
but
don't
when you
think
talk
they're
about
trying to make Drew babyface. I don't. It doesn't. There's nothing about it that feels that way.
But
are they failing at it?
He tries to go in there so he can fight from underneath, but in his matches, he doesn't fight from underneath. He fights with dominance. Heels fight with dominance because the babyface is the one that you want to get his comeuppance. The whole point of heat is to get the crowd behind the guy getting his ass kicked So when that guy finally overcomes and wins, the whole crowd goes nuts because he fucking did it against all odds. Well, Drew's never been against all odds. Ever.
Right.
Literally introduced to the entire WWE universe as future wrestling world champion Drew McIntyre, literal chosen one. And then we're all like, oh, this guy's really got to fight from underneath on this one. The fuck? Yeah, like Charlotte. Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. No, I wish, and maybe it's a testament to McIntyre not being good at selling. I mean, I put Roman in like my top 5 all time at selling. He can go through a match and you're like, fuck, he really might lose this. Brock Lesnar, he's like, him and Triple H are my top 2 all time at selling during a match. The problem I have with Brock is he's too explosive after selling for so long. But he'll go through a fucking battle. He'll take all your offense, and then all of a sudden all his power is charged up to 1. Drew never sells long enough to think that he's going to lose.
Yes.
You know? The fucking Bobby Sheamus match, whenever you want to get into that. I mean...
Yeah, let's talk about it.
There's
These are
a
the
match.
highlights of Raw. Let's be honest.
I thought Bobby was going to lose that match. That's how well Sheamus was kicking his ass, and Bobby looked like he was going to lose. I thought Sheamus was going to win.
Fucking Bobby was fighting like a fucking babyface, dude. That's what I'm saying. Drew's a goddamn heel. He fought with Miz by destroying the Miz. And then when he claymored the Miz and he was dead, he just looks over him, picks him up so he can do more shit to him. Heel shit.
So are they healing up McIntyre to make Bobby a huge babyface at WrestleMania?
I don't. I think that they don't understand that. But at the same time, they have to understand that. I'm not smarter than any of these people. I'm dumb. I'm a dumb, idiot, drunk dude who likes to yell about wrestling in my living room. So I can't be smarter than them. But I really get the impression, because of the Thunderdome, when I'm in there, 100% of the time that Drew comes out, they go, big cheers for Drew McIntyre, guys. We want big cheers. And every time Bobby Lashley comes out, they're like, boo. I want big boos, big reactions for Bobby.
Terrible.
You got to boo him. They say it in there. They're telling you what they want you to do so they can have it for the screen. But then the problem is you have like Sheamus and Bobby, and they both come out and they say boo them both. They have The Miz come out, boo them too. And you're all like, you realize we're supposed to cheer for some of this, right?
Right. Yeah, I think the product itself is too transparent to fake it. It has to feel natural. Something has to feel natural. And what happened with Bobby and Sheamus was that's the match that at the end, if nobody's standing on the outside, if those two guys pulled each other up, shook their hands and patted each other on the chest and walked away, Bobby holds the title up, you're like, fucking right. What a hell of a match. That's the way you're supposed to fucking wrestle. You know, I tweeted out there's zero chance, I'm paraphrasing, but there's zero chance that McIntyre Lashley is going to be better than what we just got out of Lashley and Sheamus. It's not going to be that good. It's just not. The way that McIntyre fights, it will not look better than what Sheamus and Lashley put together.
Nope. Not at all.
I just
think
don't buy it.
Sheamus
So
is
I
our
don't wanna see the
generation
match.
Stan Lee. Or not Stan Lee. Stan Hansen?
Yeah, but can wrestle.
Yeah.
It's not that Stan Hansen was a
can
bad
wrestle.
wrestler. He just didn't wrestle.
He was just a badass fighter.
Right.
And that's what I mean. Like, I think I put Stan Lane in my tweet. I got to go back and change that. Stan Lane was still really good. But Stan Hansen was like blind in the fucking eye. So he would just like knock people out on accident. You know? But Sheamus comes off. I was talking to a producer about it. I got the feeling during that match. I was like, I wonder if this is what the old timers used to refer to as a worked shoot, where they would have a real fight, but in a pro wrestling world, where it's like, let's actually fight each other. But honestly, you know, they'll give them what they call the Iggy if they're like, okay, you win, dude. You win, you got me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they'll get back to doing all their safe moves and stuff, and they're protecting each other, but they're having an actual fight. They're actually trying to tie each other up. There was a lot of what looked like just fucking dudes fighting.
No, absolutely. I loved it. I'm not
incredible.
Yeah, I'm not really particular to any style of wrestling. I just want to get lost in what's happening around me. And that's exactly what happened. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. They're just beating the shit out of each other. It looked so believable. And again, I thought Lashley could have lost that match. It was non-title, so it could have just, put Sheamus in position to be in a triple threat. You have ancillary characters around the title on both Raw and SmackDown, and we don't know what's going to happen on SmackDown, and they have the Rumble winner. It should just be Edge and Roman, and that's it. But we're looking at Jay trying to find a way to keep Edge on the back burner while Daniel Bryan goes for the opportunity to win the title. You have this whole story there. This one here, it's like, well, the fuck is happening? Oh, they already announced the match. Nothing else is going to happen. Therefore, this match doesn't matter. But then you watch the match, you go, well, fuck, I want Sheamus in that match.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the only thing I could think of that could come out of Fastlane that could be good or interesting is if Sheamus beats Drew McIntyre in that match. But then my problem is if we throw Sheamus inside of the match, then we get some real obvious dumb shit. I'm just tired of some of the transparency. I'm tired of, if this is a pity party for Drew, I'm not here for it.
If I get lost in the match and Drew wins, I'm okay with that. But if it is A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, the way we anticipate it, based on what they've been telling us, I'll be severely disappointed if that Z is Drew winning.
Dude, his fucking Brock match was garbage.
Yeah.
It was trash. The dude doesn't put on matches that way. That's what I mean. It's all too obvious. And it's like, I'm not here for it. And I don't like this idea that Drew had to carry the entire pandemic on his back and no one else had any struggles. This fucking constant storyline that all these fucking wrestling journalists and wrestling podcasters and all these fucking people in their commentary even say, it's incredible what Drew's done as a champion during the pandemic era. For him to carry the weight of this company during the pandemic era is crazy. Are you telling me not one other fucking person during this didn't realize there was nobody there?
Right.
Yeah, he didn't do what Bayley and Sasha did. They carried 3 shows. You know what Drew did? He invited his friend back so he could beat the shit out of him while he wasn't under contract. Great. Sayonara, Heath Slater. Thank you for coming back so Drew could beat the shit out of you in front of fucking nobody.
Yep.
I'm supposed to feel bad for this dude? Fuck that, dude. No.
Give us Heath Slater.
Bring back Heath Slater. Give Bobby Lashley the win. I don't know. I guess that's my rant. I'm sorry. I apologize about that. I've been drinking, man.
It's all good, man.
The Drew McIntyre stuff just gets on my goddamn nerves, dude. But I keep watching. So maybe they're working me. I might be getting worked.
No, you find yourself not invested, and you want to be. None of us hate watch this shit unless you actually hate watch it. But we do it, and we, if you want to call it, report on it by doing the shows, is because we want it to be good, and we also want our takes out there. So, we hold them accountable. That's been my theme for the last couple of weeks about the other company is nobody holds them accountable to their bullshit. Well, that's why I call my podcast Terrible Wrestling Takes, TWTakesPodcast.com. All the links to all the podcast platforms. Let me know if it's not on yours. I'll put it there. Coming soon, TWTakesPodcast/TWTs. Anyway, I call it Terrible Wrestling Takes because I will tell you that AEW could go fuck itself, and then somebody could tell me, well, AEW is the greatest. We're both right because it's the perception of what they're putting on. But the reason why I don't stand for anything is because you have to hold accountability in the misses. And that's what we're doing with this Drew McIntyre storyline. If Drew McIntyre was doing something that we could not poke holes through, we wouldn't poke holes.
Good point.
It ain't working.
Sammy. Never poked holes in anything Sammy's ever done. He's incredible.
And when I did, he proved me wrong within 2 weeks.
Right? You were getting worked. I was proud to announce
I wasn't
that on
buying
my
in
own
yet.
show. You got worked.
I wasn't buying in yet.
Well, you got worked. He's asking if you got some hefty fines for the leg slaps with Drew. I don't know about all that shit, dude. And I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of that seems like horse shit. I'll be completely honest. If I hear it from Meltzer first, I'm gonna need a number of other sources, like a lot of other sources. Meltzer's never done anything historically. Look at it. Go back. Look at anything you want. He's never done anything to put over WWE in any way. And he's always tried to hit hot button things with his audience to try to tell them they need to hate WWE and support whatever it is he loves. That's his narrative. It's what he's always stuck to. And it's working for him. So that's why he does it. So the fact that Meltzer broke that and Meltzer had some photo from some random place with a goddamn printout, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't also care. And to be quite honest, if it's real, I'm glad.
Sure.
That's getting a little fucking annoying, to be honest. I just hope that Gargano just retires because he doesn't know what to do with himself. Let's see. Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose defeated Lana and Naomi. I liked that match in general. I like them building women tag teams. I wish that the whole match didn't seem to be hung up on stuff happening outside the ring with people who weren't involved. But I did like Asuka coming back and Asuka being a badass.
Absolutely. I thought we got Asuka back.
Yeah. Not only did we get Asuka back, we got Asuka leveled up. Asuka was all like, I'm tired of being fun, and I'm going to let you guys know you can't push me around because I will beat the shit out of you. The fact I don't fucking murder you all the time, you're welcome. But now you've pushed me too far. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I said on my show today, covering this, TWTakesPodcast on all podcast platforms, that Asuka, the credibility that she has now established without Charlotte around her. Again, I came on your show and have said this.
I think it was episode 1.
When she was tagging, she was the 4th member in that ring. As Raw Women's Champion, she was number 4 of the people that mattered. It was Charlotte, the 2 people they were facing, and then Asuka was there as well. What she did on Raw was go, like you said, I'm done fucking around. I will show you I can whoop that ass.
Yeah.
And for what she did to Nia and Shayna, and to not bat an eyelash that she took out the tag team champions, shows you how credible she is and where she should be. It wasn't gratuitous that she beat the shit out of both of the tag champs without being compromised. That's how good she is. And that's how believable her doing it is, opposed to when Charlotte got beat down by both of them and still won the match.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And then even with Asuka and Shayna's match later on, where she takes out the turnbuckle and gets Shayna to bite the buckle, I was like, Jesus, this is fucking brutal. It really came down to like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of a deal. And you're all like, holy shit. Shayna, like Asuka's all like, oh, you thought I was real cute giving me a little kick in my face? Well, now you're going to eat metal. How about that?
Yep.
And I was
it was
all
fantastic.
like, fuck. Which was dope.
Yeah, that
come off real
Asuka,
serious.
That Asuka is so undeniable, man. She does everything the right way. Execution in the ring is flawless. You know, I mean, everybody misses here and there, but when she is this Asuka, it's another level.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This feels like an Asuka I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm so happy to have back. And I really like Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose getting the win. I just wish this wasn't to like appease Charlotte. 'Cause remember that whole bullshit a while back? Why don't you prove it to me? Yeah,
fuck out of here,
idiot. The fuck, stupid. Let's see a couple other things that happened on Raw. What do you think what they're doing with Retribution, dude? Having Mustafa Ali lose to Riddle.
Because then I'm hearing that Ali's going to have some type of match against Riddle for the U.S. title again. I'm like, well, then it just happened. Didn't he just lose?
Yeah,
so I don't understand what's going on.
I don't know what they're doing here, and I can't tell if they're breaking them up.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's weird. It's getting a little messy.
Like them, so.
I thought that they've had Retribution's had a lot of start stops, but this feels like a really weird stuttering of what's going on here. Like they're gonna break them up, but they're not. They're staying together, but they're losing. But they make Mustafa lose, and he has a tantrum, and it's just weird. Something's got to happen there. I need a shift.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think of all this Shane McMahon stuff with Braun Strowman? Shane was a bit stuttery. He could barely get out stupid as a stupid does. And I was like, that's a tough one to fail on, man.
He's the worst. He's the fucking worst.
He's not the worst. As stupid as you know, this is stupid. He came off real fucking George W. You know what I mean?
Is it fucking the guy walks 2 steps and he's breathing to the mic. Marsh, thanks for having me on your shift. Hey, huh? Who's the fucking stupid one? Is it Braun or is it Shane? The guy can't cut a fucking promo. And nonetheless, Braun is actually not that bad on the promo. He's just screaming into the mic. His volume and intensity is dialed up way too high every time. But what he's saying, it actually is making sense. So he's not the dumb one. But
I mean, yes, but they both sound like children yelling at each other the way they do it. Braun's like, I'm not stupid. You're stupid, stupid. Why don't you come down here and call me stupid, you stupid? You're too stupid. Just call me stupid, stupid. Is what it sounds like. And then Shane's all like, no. You're stupid because stupid is. I've seen Forrest Gump twice, idiot. And you're like, what?
Yeah, look, I tell you, I've been completely out. Like, okay, we know where this is going, right? That was my whole thing. We know where this is going. Just get there. You know what? I don't even need the story anymore. We just know what's going to happen. It's going to be a train wreck. But then they touched. They actually got hands on each other.
Yep.
And when the entire segment of shit was done, I'm completely invested. So that's how you botch a storyline and with actions pull people in. I'm not saying everyone is, but I am.
Yeah.
They completely botched the microphones. But when they went to start the match, it never started with Shane running around and all that shit. And then, it was fucking awesome. And then for Shane to be standing tall at the end, you know what's coming next.
Yeah. The thing is I don't know what match we're going to get because it's I don't recall other times where Nickelodeon slime was used, or gack as it were, to humiliate a downed opponent. Like, it was weird that he had so much. First off, he had 2 buckets.
Well, that's how
slime.
confident he was that it was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that, but I don't know. I don't think I know what it was. I'm kind of hoping what we get is kind of a rebranding of Braun. And instead of Braun Strowman Express, where he's like half train, we get like a Ninja Turtle style Braun. Now that he's been doused in ooze, there's no reason he can't come back like a Rocksteady or a B. But he could team with Sheamus. Sheamus was Rocksteady in the new Turtles.
Rocksteady, yeah.
He was Rocksteady in the Turtles
Not
movie.
a bad movie, by the way. Not a
bad at all.
It wasn't
Not bad at all.
It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, me too. Oh, yeah. So you could have Sheamus and Braun team up, and you can have Bebop and Rocksteady for reals this time.
That's hysterical. No, look, I'm not gonna pull apart that particular. I did find it odd, but if the crux of what it was, and they did a great job hiding him missing the elbow this time. I don't know why people don't just lay right in front of him when he's going to do the fucking elbow off the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
But they definitely switched the camera angle perfectly so you can't see him miss.
Yeah, look good.
I thought at the end of all the contact, I mean, dude, how well did Braun sell catching that camera to the face?
Dude.
I mean,
definitely
of course,
derailed the Express. Oh. Choo-choo.
No, I thought from that point on, everything Shane did to Braun was way more credible than anything he said on the mic. And it sets up Braun for actually having beef with Shane. First, it was storyline shit, right? It's like, dude, I am a champion. I am credible and capable of competing against this. Why aren't you looking out for me? Why am I not an asset to your company? Now, he wasn't saying it that way because he's... Yeah. But leading into what we got, all the talking kind of derailed. The contact, it's now fucking... When Braun touches Shane, it's not going to be good. And the only thing I keep picturing in my head is, can there please be pane glasses or glass panes that fucking Braun can throw Shane through a la Kurt Angle? I just want to see Shane get thrown through everything.
But he's an express, so he would have to do one that he like spears him through. You know what I mean? Choo choo.
Yeah, that's possible.
Real quick in the chat, GhostWolf570 says, "Hey guys, Ghost Wolf, good to see you. Thank you for coming through. Cheers to you. We appreciate
Cheers,
it. What are you
Ghost
drinking,
Wolf. TWTakesPodcast.com.
Fuck.
All platforms for the podcast.
That's a good point.
Like,
Good
subscribe,
point.
all
But
that shit.
if you go ahead and hit the old Prime subscribe on us, it'll buy me a drink, and you hit that little bell and find out when we'll do our watch along this weekend. So let's see.
Yeah, you can
Grim
do
says,
both.
which way did he go? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what match we're gonna end up with. Is the only thing I'm really wondering about, and the only thing that the main thing I'm trying to figure out is why Dabba Kato's not involved yet, because they had their fight down in the underground, and now that Strowman's been covered in ooze, he'll probably live in the sewers, so far as I can tell. So he'll probably find Dabba Kato underground again. And
So what if that's the next one? Shane gets Dabba Kato in ooze, and there's the new Toka and Razor.
there you go, Toka Razor. There you go. What if it's this? What if Braun beats?
Then again,
the
Razor
absolute
already left.
Shit.
He left with
Razor
Akam,
did.
so.
Oh, that's a good point.
And you can't do
So-
like Bebop and Toka, right?
No, but what we could do, because this could be one of those things where Fastlane becomes actually Fastlane, you could have Shane get the absolute shit kicked out of him by Braun. Is that match been announced or no?
No.
I
Not
thought
that
it
I know.
was. We'll have to look, because if you get Braun and Shane at Fastlane, and Braun beats the shit out of Shane, and Shane comes out in a neck brace gimmick, and then says, "All right, maybe you're strong, but you're still stupid. But I got a dude here who's equally dumb because he works for Kibbles, and he like has Dabba Kato come out and he puts like a little snack cookie into his mouth, like feeds him
Hysterical.
a little bit,
It's fucked
and then
up.
Dabba Kato goes out there, but he's like on a chain and stuff. So I think that you could get to Dabba Kato versus Braun Strowman in a meat castle match. That could be cool, but you'd have to get there. Grim Reaper said Braun should choo-choo Shane through the glass a la Keith Lee bouncing Adam Cole into the crowd. That'd be fucking dope, dude. They made the match official last night. Yeah, they made it official last night. There you go.
Oh, did
So
they? I
Shane
didn't see
has
that.
to lose this, and then Dabba Kato's got to come out on a leash, getting little bone bites.
It's on Fastlane.
Yeah, on Fastlane, and then he'll Dabba Kato like little Nilla wafers into Dabba Kato's mouth and give him a little...
So Raw announced a WrestleMania match, and then later in the night announced the Fastlane match.
Yeah, because they're double booking,
Okay.
dude.
Gotcha.
Sort of like how you promoted your website and then I promoted our watch along.
Right, except those can happen congruently, and Fastlane is actually before WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that's been my point, is that they
One,
gotta
then book the next.
But yeah, but they gotta book Fastlane like it's on the way to Mania and not in the way of Mania. And so that was actually, I think, okay.
All right.
Let's see. Let's get through as much of this as we can. We have a couple more things. Let's see. So they stripped the title of Bad Bunny because he didn't take the title to Grammys. They gave him a replica Stone Cold title and said, "All right, that'll do, pig. That'll do," and sent him on his way. R-Truth said,
thing's
"I
like
got my baby back,
a
baby
grand,
back, baby
right?
back, Chili's, a baby back ribs." What was that, Bishop?
Barbecue sauce.
Hell yeah, goddamn right.
No, that Stone Cold belt's fucking expensive, man.
It is. My brother's got a Stone
Cold.
Cold.
So fucking dope.
My brother's got that one signed by Austin. And he keeps going like, "I think I'm going to sell it." I'm like, "Dude, stop.
Your
Stop
brother's
saying that."
I don't like your brother. Why do you have stuff that I want? I don't
Yeah,
like you.
Stop it. Fucking turn heel on me. So I heard on your show where you're getting super worked by this, and it's hysterical to me. It's so cute that you were. So they take the title off of Bad Bunny in this like weird exchange moment, and then later on you get Bad Bunny getting the shit smashed out of him with a guitar, and you thought that was your opening. The only thing I would say with, if you're gonna smash him with a guitar, yeah, you could have him lose the title there, but you'd have to have R-Truth, who would knowingly be ready on the go, which he's always is anyway. but you're really building Damian Priest in all of this.
I know.
So if you had Bad Bunny get his fucking head caved in with a guitar, and then you had Damian Priest allow Bad Bunny to be pinned by somebody like an R-Truth and a Miz, then Damian looks less than.
I get that. No, I get that. I actually, my biggest gripe, and I guess it didn't come off that way, is that it happened in basically back-to-back segments. It was like within 4 minutes of each other that happened. If it was earlier in the night, that's fine. That's absolutely more than fine. I would go, oh, okay. But instead it was back-to-back segments. And to your point, as soon as R-Truth got his baby back, what happened to R-Truth?
He disappeared.
He got chased and then disappeared.
By Gulak. Come on.
And a referee. Somebody is always ready when it comes to the 24/7 title. So I don't necessarily buy your theory that it couldn't have happened. I get it, though, because I even said it. It would take Miz to drag Priest away.
Yes.
So
Priest would
I
have
get
to be
that.
getting his ass kicked.
And I absolutely love what they're doing with Priest and Bunny. Everything looks so legit. Everything looks extremely important between the two of them. So I'm definitely okay with it going down this way. I just wish it wasn't that close together.
I'm okay with it too, because it also explains why, if you did do this that way, because Damian Priest looked tall at the end of this one, you either have to have Priest getting his ass fucking handed to him by people, so that way someone could pin Damian or pin Bad Bunny, or you have Bad Bunny not have the title when you get into a segment where he gets his ass kicked, so that way Damian Priest doesn't also have to get his ass kicked.
Right.
Because then the other thing is that if you had that segment and Bad Bunny had the title, people would be like, why the fuck didn't someone come take the title from him then? So
I don't disagree. This is why you should have taken the title from him during that segment. He got hit by a fucking guitar. If anything's going to keep him down and it's not his choice to get taken down, it would be a guitar. Because you don't want Bad Bunny compromised by someone else. He's compromised by the guitar, and it was nobody's fault other than the Miz. And again, if Priest was to go after Miz, or even let's say he's beating down Miz in the other corner, and Truth is sneaking in to get the title back, or Tozawa or whoever just sneaks in to get the title on some quiet, barely even smack the thing.
Yeah,
there's something there. You can get your way around it. Again, had it happened in the beginning of the night, Bad Bunny shows up, steps out of the Bugatti. Truth is like, hey man, I'll trade you this for the Bugatti. He's like, no, you can trade me that for this, though, and give him the 24/7 title back. Okay.
Yeah.
An hour and a half later, this segment happens. I completely agree.
That makes sense, because it's a little bit transparent at that point. Well, we got to get the title off him so that people don't question this bit, but keep the focus here. Like, seems a little bit that. I gotcha. Two other things happened on here that we'll talk about real fast. Raw Tag Team Championships. New Day defeated the Hurt Business via pinfall. This was really weird because it also was immediately followed up by AJ coming out saying, hey, me and my personal Colossus want your titles. And then Xavier Woods, which, by the way, was hysterical in this whole thing. As AJ's talking, he's saying things like, oh, we got this, and oh, I've never had this. And Xavier Woods off mic is just all like, I don't care. What are you talking about, AJ? Nobody cares. Like,
why are you here?
Exactly. Why are you here?
Yeah.
So fucking funny. So AJ says, I want the fucking titles, and they say, all right, we'll give it to you at Mania. And then it's like, how the fuck did we erase Hurt Business from fucking WrestleMania? Yeah. There was one real cool moment I'll throw out there too, is AJ throws the mic at Kofi, who one hand grabs it out of the air and fucking flings it right back and hits AJ with it. Just
I missed it. Oh, I missed that.
I'll send you the GIF. Someone had a GIF of it, and I was like, yes. Because at the end of his promo, AJ throws it at him. He just grabs it, throws it right back, and hits him.
Nice.
And AJ's like, what the fuck? Like,
Mortal Kombat, bitch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, which that was amazing in this match.
Oh, dude.
During that match. And here is a perfect example. New Day is absolutely artistic in how they throw comedy into a match believably.
Yes.
Kofi goes, get over here, and does the thing where then Xavier Woods
throws him.
Irish whips him to Kofi. This wasn't like in some places where they use invisible rope to pull someone over and they allow it week after week. This was a get over here, and someone actually throws the other person who's a little dazed anyway, so he's not in on the joke. Then when they connect, Xavier Woods with the whoopsie.
It's amazing. Loved it.
So
Loved
fucking good, dude. I was all like,
Yeah, I
oh,
told
fuck.
at the moment in that moment I told the wife, I said, man, I love being old right now. Like this, I'm just this is an old dude. I was like, I remember when that shit came out. I had a fucking Game Gear playing Mortal Kombat 2. Hit somebody with a fire uppercut and a little black and white head comes out the corner. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah,
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. The only thing I'm bummed out about this, because I love New Day, I think they can have the titles as many times as anybody, but this feels like the third Mania in a row, I think, where just before Mania, they went ahead and threw them on to New Day for a match at Mania. And it feels like, why are you doing so much to build champions throughout the year if you're just going to toss it on New Day at Mania with some random opponent? This just, to me, hurt because it hurts the Hurt Business. This is...
Yeah, big time.
Go ahead. Say what you can say, because I know what you were thinking, and I think you're right. Go ahead.
It fucks up the Hurt Business. Yeah, it fucks up the Hurt Business. It's terrible timing for the Hurt Business, and I hope it's not telling of what's going to happen with Bobby, but when you have the ability to not just take a picture of all of them with their titles, but you have the ability to present them over and over and over again with their titles, it gives you something special. Mm-hmm. And Bobby's been the champion for 1 week now. Why can't the Hurt Business have the tag titles as well all the way up until Mania? And if you want to do something special with AJ and Omos, okay, but we've been seeing this for a long time. Give it to us already. To do it at this point in time, and I've walked it back since. But again, when we finally got the New Day versus the Usos at WrestleMania, it was a Bludgeon Brothers squash match. Mm-hmm. And again, since the passing of Brody Lee, come to find out that moment was super important to him and his family. I get it. That moment's not about me, but in the construct of storyline, that was the opportunity to get the New Day and the Usos at WrestleMania, 25 minutes of just the greatest tag team match you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And you have an opportunity to continue the story that they were telling them. You have that opportunity now with the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business has finally stopped showing Cedric as the problem. They had phenomenal chemistry in this match. The match was awesome. It was awesome. Everybody looked legit the entire match. It was just team against team. And for finally having that great chemistry by the Hurt Business, before they were winning in spite of Cedric being pompous. In this match, they lost when they had their shit together. And that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
That's a problem for me. Because the Hurt Business could have been something special that we talked about for years to come had they just kept the tag titles on the Hurt Business and kept this story going.
You know what it could do? Because I know how much you love fantasy booking. It could show Cedric Alexander that he was right all along. And we could see that growth. Where Cedric's going like, yeah, see what happens when I just fall in line and when I just be a part of the team. When you guys don't just let me do me in spite of you guys, you can get that. But at the same time, I agree with you. I would prefer, personally, a strong unit like the Hurt Business being a strong, girthy unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I hear you, and I agree with you on that one. I don't think that's a terrible wrestling take, despite what you say. The only other thing that happened in here, and we'll knock it out as fast as we can, because I know you're getting in trouble already. Alexa Bliss had the playground. She has on her swing a Pandora's box, they've been calling it. I wish they had a more clever name for it, to be quite honest, because I think that we're all smart enough to know what a Pandora's box is. They could give it something else, sort of like fiendish type name to go along with it. I don't know what that would be. But either way, we're talking about Alexa's box. And I think that the promo she did was fantastic, luring in Randy saying, oh, you want me out of your life? Well, you'll get your chance at Fastlane. I hope you're fast, buddy. I move fast. Let's get fast. That's not how she said it?
No.
That's not.
No, that wasn't smooth at all.
I feel like it's similar.
That would scare no one.
Well,
no.
She's like, vroom, vroom, buddy. You know what I mean?
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
This is not a gimmick.
Yeah. I feel like that's pretty much how it went. And then Randy Orton comes out a little bit later and goes, "Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it fast and I'll do it lane."
No.
I think that's how it went.
It's not. No.
Yeah.
It might have been close, but I think it's a little bit more scarier than that.
A little scarier. A Grim Reaper does say return of the punt. And then just in time says apparently Marsh thinks Blaze is a female Sonic the Hedgehog. It was real Sonic the Hedgehog. I forgot that. Yeah, with the coins. She can't be Sonic the Hedgehog. All the rings are in AEW, apparently. So, Grim Reaper says it's the return of the punt. There was a fantastic line by Randy right at the end. He goes, "I'll get her out of my life. I'll kick her out of my life." Which is kind of how he said it, where he's like, I'm going to punt her in the goddamn face. Bishop, what'd you think of all this? He didn't, for the record, Randy Orton did not vomit marker. It feels like he's learned his lesson after time and time of sucking on the back of his Sharpie. He has stopped, it appears. What do you think of all this?
I think that your marker take is terrible. It's not a fucking marker. It's fiend possession.
What? The Fiend lives in markers? Who said? Why would the Fiend live in a marker, dude? That doesn't even make sense.
Fiend is an entity. He can live in anywhere.
Oh.
And you must cross paths with the Fiend. No,
But-
look, you know what I feel
go
about this segment. I mean, look, Alexa spent less time talking than even the Ding Dong Hello segment from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The ability she has to portray the importance of what she says, it sans the content, right? It doesn't matter what the content is. What she's saying to you is important based on what the character she is doing. And she's what, 5 Fury, right? She's 5 foot tall, probably, I don't know, $110. I'm not good at carnival guessing games, so anyway. But Randy Orton's 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", whatever it is, 245 pounds. And she is the intimidating process of what this match is.
Yeah.
And they even announced it that they will go one-on-one.
Yeah.
Now, the graphic they put up didn't say versus, but the invitation to whatever it is on Sunday has been accepted. And whatever that is, it's what I'm most looking forward to in Fastlane. Because it's going to continue to build this incredible story that you have no idea what's going to happen. And everything about it, like I said earlier, as non-believable as it is completely believable. I believe Alexa is pulling the strings here. I believe what she is saying is causing Randy to freak the fuck out. That's incredible.
It's absolutely remarkable that the most supernatural storyline they have in their company is arguably one of their most believable, in a sense.
1000%.
It's easy to lose yourself in and to buy into for some reason, where a lot of their other ones that are based in whatever forms of reality they want to call it, like Drew McIntyre's Sword, they're not as easy to buy into as this one. I think what Alexa's doing is fantastic. I think whatever happens here is great. Do you think this is where we see the new Fiend, whatever the new Fiend's going to be?
I don't care. Because that would be fantasy booking.
I'm asking.
No. Because if I fantasy book the Fiend showing up at Fastlane, then I'll be let down if he's not there. So I don't care if he's there. I want to see what this is, and then be caught off guard by whatever happens. I want to find out what this is leading to, because there's no way Randy can just execute Alexa. Or is this where Alexa volunteers herself to be executed for the new Fiend to show up? I don't know. So whatever comes next, I don't care, because what we've gotten so far has been so undeniable that whatever's going to happen on Sunday most likely will be the first talking point after Sunday.
All right, you heard it here first. Fiend is definitely not showing up. Bishop has said it. There is no way Fiend will be there. You heard it here. Grim Reaper says, Alexa Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha Randy in the face. The punt matches... Yeah, Kamehameha. Randy in the face. The punt matches the intensity. Fetching says, I don't think so. I think Bray's taking a year off. I don't. That sounds like a long time for Bray to be part of a storyline and not be a part of the storyline. I feel like we're going to get him back. I feel like we want him by Mania. So I do think that it's possible. I do agree with the idea of, like, I'm not expecting him necessarily, but I do think it opens a window for definitely a progression here and the possibility of a Fiend opening up. I think it's definitely possible, whatever happens here.
Well, how much of the last couple weeks could you have predicted have happened, right? If you wanted to be vague and say, well, I guess Alexa's going to keep fucking with Randy until the Fiend comes back, sure, that's what's happening. But the style in which the story is being told, you can't predict that. So why try to predict the next step?
Well, yeah, and you get worked a lot, so it's probably
That's
tough.
the point.
You know what I mean?
That's the point. It's the fucking point.
That is the point. That is the point. It's what we're here for.
Did you see Avengers Endgame? You see Avengers Endgame?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Captain America is worthy. Okay?
I mean, he's worthy. He's an old man now. He's a piece of shit. Dude gave up. He's a quitter. He's no John Cena.
But he was able to wield the hammer because he's worthy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
When that moment happens, did you get worked? Like, that's the point. You sit there to be invested. I watch Raw to be invested. That's the fucking point. You're getting
100%.
I think I know. I don't know.
100%.
I don't understand.
We're here to get
contracts.
worked.
Let's talk about contracts.
Oh, shit. I don't understand contracts. We're here to get worked, and we're here to eat crow. We like to complain about stuff because we want to hold these companies accountable for the things that they do
1,000%.
that we think is missing the goddamn point. But nothing makes us happier is when they make us eat crow and say, well, you dumbass, here's what you were doing all along. Ta-da. And I go, oh, good day, sir. So between getting worked and eating crow, that's what we're going for. It's what we're hoping for. We'll see what happens at Fastlane this weekend, and we're going to see it live because we're going to be doing a watch-along. That's right, an actual drink-along with TWTakesPodcast, GR Lunar, who, sporadically pops into the chat from time to time, the same way he watches wrestling from time to time, minutes on end. We will see what happens. We'll see how it goes. We're going to see what's going on with each of these. We're gonna call it as we see it. If it goes even half as well as the last one, then you'll have audio the whole time. Producer, something you want to say?
Shout out to Lana for being on a movie with Bruce Willis recently.
Oh, yeah. Lana's in a movie with Bruce Willis. Did you know about that?
Yes, I did. I didn't see the movie, but I saw that she was on a poster for it.
Yeah.
So
she's got Nia Jax's hair in the poster. It's really weird.
I did see that, yeah. Those fucking braids. Those ram braids.
Yeah, always cool for them to get their shots. And I do think that with Lana, based off everything we've seen of her on social media and in Total Divas, I think acting's always been a drive for her too. So it's really cool that she got something that seems reasonable. It's not like a total garbage, weird indie thing. This seems like a good, well-produced movie that hopefully she did really good in and is on the.
Well, she was in the Pitch Perfect movie. She was definitely in the first Pitch Perfect, but you have to find her in there. Yeah, she's dancing with the Bellas early on, but with this,
Really?
she's actually on. Dude, it's a good movie. The whole franchise.
I love it. No. I love that whole franchise. I don't remember. I didn't look for her, but you're saying
no,
like she's background?
Well, that's the thing. So I listened to Skylar Aston on a couple podcasts, and he talked about knowing CJ through Pitch Perfect. I'm like, she's not in that. And you look it up on IMDb, she is in that. And then during the opening Bella's number, she's one of the dancers in there.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Ashton's
but no,
also
this time
amazing.
she's actually on the poster. So
yeah. And Aston's amazing. He did a really great interview with Not Sam on Not Sam Wrestling podcast too. So that's really cool. I'll have to look that up. But
Rhea
so that
Ripley.
happened. She's doing the movie Rhea Ripley. Oh, Rhea Ripley. That's right. Coming soon. Still coming soon. Okay.
yeah, I think 3 out of 4 weeks we've gotten the coming soon. The This Is My Brutality. I remember we talked about this before we went live one of the times on episode 1 that we have to talk about her because she's getting a promo package that we haven't seen in a while where they're giving us everything. And then we've gone so long without talking about it, it doesn't actually feel as important anymore. And that's a little bothersome.
I'd rather she just show up than see these video packages. You know what? The last person that I think they did this with, they did a couple with Keith Lee. They did some with Asuka before she came back, but they did a lot with Lars Sullivan.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know why we're holding off.
Yeah.
I'd rather just see her, but I also don't know where I would put her. Where would you shoehorn her in?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because everything's so flooded right now. Even if you want to like give guesses and not fantasy book, even when you look at the Raw Women's title picture, the only thing that's been mentioned on screen is it was either Reginald or commentary, I don't remember, who had said something about Shayna going after the Raw Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to do something at either Fastlane or the Monday after to show some type of contender for Asuka. Number one, she deserves it. She's fucking special. She deserves championship matches at WrestleMania, but we need to build there. Maybe that's what we get. I don't know. I would love it. I would love to see the two of them in the ring together. But
That'd be great.
I can't fantasy book it because I'll be pissed.
Yeah, because that's just it. Is the only stories I think that we have for Rhea so far is Charlotte and Alexa, and I think that Alexa's a little tied up, and I think that Charlotte is. I'm just not interested. But I don't know. It would. I think it'd be amazing to see Rhea versus Asuka because there's also two paths that never quite crossed through the NXT realm. So 100%. Rhea Ripley coming soon. Our Fastlane drink along also coming soon. Guys, go ahead, give us that like, give us the follow, ring the bell, hit up TWTakesPodcast on twitch.tv, WrestlingOnTheRocks.com, TWTakesPodcast.com. Is that the actual website, or is it Terrible Wrestling
TWTakes Podcast? No, it's TWTakesPodcast.com. I actually had my choice of all of them, and I went with that one. So TWTakesPodcast.com, at TWTakes on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.com/BishopTWTakes. It's all there, but TWTakesPodcast.com has links to everything, and it will soon have links to t-shirts.
Terrible tees coming soon. Our WrestlingOnTheRocks.com has all of our links as well. It looks like Ghost Wolf popped back up in the chat again saying, thank you guys. I do a wrestling podcast with my friend. Also, we're called Dudes at Ringside Podcast. So, he said he's had a fun time watching the show. So he said we're really good.
Shouts, buddy.
Shouts out, Ghost Wolf. Find us on Twitter.
We'll do the same for you.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Follow us here, and we'll follow you right back, man. We'll take a look. We like communicating and hanging out. I mean, the whole thing here. I mean, this is Bishop. Yeah. My typical co-host would be Kevlar on the Rocks from our show, from the inception of the show, but he couldn't do it. So as a podcast community that we're trying to build here of friendship for everyone, much like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Bishop jumped in to go ahead and make sure that my podcast could happen, regardless of the fact that his podcast already covered this stuff. So be part of the community, man. Come in, hang out, give us our like, or give us the follow on Twitter down below. Oh, whoa! Just in Time actually just gave a gift sub to Ghost Wolf too. So really appreciate that. Just in Time is a hero.
Just in Time's the fucking man. Just in Time 211. He is the best. I'm gonna tell
you right now, Bishop. You better not charge that dude for his shirt. You'd be an asshole if you charged him for his shirt.
See this hat right here?
Yeah.
This hat right here?
Oh, yeah.
I made him one personalized, says Twitter co-host on it. Sent it to him for free. Yep. And Graham got one. Graham for good cop, bad cop. I gave him one that said Podcast Sherpa. Yeah, man.
Any chance he's a small or a medium? Is that possible? If his shirt size is small or medium? I don't know. We'll talk offline. Guys, thank you guys for coming through. Thank you guys for having a drink and hanging out. Ghost Wolf, awesome to have you come through. We hope to see you again. We hope to check you out too. Check us out on our drink along this Sunday for Fastlane. We're going to find out how fast it gets.
And which lane you're in.
That's right. Guys, thank you for coming through. We really appreciate it. Cheers.
Say last call.
That's last call.
Hey, producer lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support us or buy us a drink by following and putting the I and subscribe on Twitch. Or subscribe and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us. Cheers!
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.